Dodger Stadium. And it's not the fans in the LA Sun.
Hammered to left. Oh my goodness, what a shot. Carlos Santana up into the night and almost over all the bleachers at Dodger Stadium for a home run.
The Brewers and the Dodgers play tonight with coverage starting at 8:35 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
70 degrees. High, moving into the 80s. The rain is behind us now. Now air quality, though, will take a little bit of a hit. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. Yes, some Canadian wildfires still raging, bringing some smoke back into Wisconsin the next couple of days. So Wisconsin now being placed under another air quality advisory. The DNR warning folks to avoid the outdoors if they can, especially those with some lung conditions. DNR says the best way anyone can keep wildfire air particles out of their lungs is to stay inside. 1 out of 1,000 wildfires currently blazing in Canada, over half of them now considered out of control. Get the shots. The new director of the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, urging Wisconsinites to get vaccinated across the board. Dr. Mandy Cohen was in Madison on Wednesday, telling TMJ4 News that the state of Wisconsin seeing lower vaccination rates across the board compared to other states.
We saw the rates of vaccinations go down a bit during COVID. Understandably, people were staying home, but we haven't seen that come back.
Cohen urging parents to make sure children are up to date on vaccines before heading back to school. That's for polio and for the measles as well. An update to a story we've been following here on WTMJ, speculation over how to fund American Family Field in order to keep the Brewers playing baseball in Milwaukee.
Nothing concrete yet on a package to pay for American Family Field's renovations. Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce President Tim Sheehy tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News how the legislature could deliver one.
The state collects about $25 million a year in tax revenue from the Brewers, and using some of that seems like a pretty smart way to do this.
Sheehy says the legislature should act fast.
Between now and the fall, I think, is the time to get the Assembly and Senate on the same page, get the governor on the same page, and get this across home plate.
Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Brewers President of Business Operations Rick Schlesinger told Wisconsin's Morning News last week that he's optimistic a deal will get done.
There's a willingness and a recognition that we want to get something done, which is great. The devil's in the details, so nothing specific to report right now.
Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporting last week that the Brewers have started to eye Charlotte and Nashville if necessary, if things don't go the way they need them to. Time is running out for Facebook users to claim they're part of a major settlement. ABC's Trevor Ault.
Facebook's parent company Meta is paying out $725 million to settle claims that it's allowed third parties to gain access to users' personal data. Meta's also denying any wrongdoing, but anybody who had a Facebook account between May 24, 2007 and December 22, 2022 can still file a claim. The deadline to sign up is August 25th.
News about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag at the moment. The Dow is up 90 to 34,856. The NASDAQ down 20 to 13,453. And the S&P up 5 to 44,10. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit nxwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, weather next side in Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 9:04.
Breakthroughs aren't just for medical journals. They're to help people hold their grandbabies for the first time. Expertise isn't just for awards or recognition. It can be what gives people the best chance to walk again. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, people are the driving force behind everything we do. So we never lose sight of what's important. And we never forget who it's for. Because in the end, we're people helping people. That means every breakthrough, every clinical study, every interaction is to help people like you, your family, and your neighbors be the best they can be. We do everything possible because we see everything possible in you. To find out how compassion motivates world-class care, visit Froedtert.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, You do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Clayton Kershaw tossed 5 strong innings, and Mookie Betts scored 4 times as the Dodgers go on to beat the Milwaukee Brewers by a final of 7-1 on Wednesday night. With the loss and a Chicago and Cincinnati win, the Brewers losing a game in the race for the top spot in the National League Central, now leading by only 2.5 games. Milwaukee will look to avoid the sweep tonight with a first pitch of 9:10 in Los Angeles. From the diamond to the NFL, as the Green Bay Packers welcomed in the New England Patriots to begin a pair of joint practices in Titletown on Wednesday afternoon. Packers-Patriots will hit the practice field again later today before their Week 2 preseason matchup on Saturday night. Lastly, to women's soccer in the wake of the U.S. team's elimination by Sweden in the round of 16 at the 2023 Women's World Cup, Vlatko Adovansky has stepped down as manager of the U.S. women's national team. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic 94 eastbound Highway 16 through the zoo and into downtown is all right. The trouble issue right now 43. Going to see some slowdowns. We usually see slowdowns in both directions north of the Marquette interchange around this time because of the road work and whatnot. So 43 north and southbound. In north of the Marquette, you might see some delays in that area. Otherwise, 4145 southbound looking good from Highway Q to the zoo. That's at 15.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
If you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329. We discover the road at Hall Mazda during Mazda's season of discovery.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, a chance for the morning showers. That's come and gone. We had the rain earlier today. Now becoming sunny and windy, a high of 78. Now we do have air quality advisories in place for Wisconsin until Monday. That's because of the wildfire smoke. May not see quite the concentration of smoke we've seen in the past, but still could be poor enough to cause some effect to your lungs. Tonight, clear, cool, breezy, a low of 58. Friday, sunny tomorrow, high of 78. Saturday, very warm, a high of 85. Sunday, hot and humid, a high of 90 with that heat index nearing 100. Monday, sunny and a high of 87 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, 70. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Come give us your thoughts on the Old National Bank talk and text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old. Now here's your hosts, Sandy Maxx and Steve Scaffidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday's edition. Hi, Sandy Maxx.
Good morning, Steve Scaffidi.
How are you?
I'm good.
I am too. My week's almost over.
I was just going to say, this is your hump day. This is your 3-day
middle of the week for me because I only
done.
started working yesterday. But
but you've had, I'm glad that you were able to spend Monday and Tuesday having fun time with your family in the summer break. And
the official 85th birthday party for my mother-in-law, Diane, concluded last night.
Stretch it out.
It was stretched out over like 4 days. It was, which is deserving.
Yeah.
An incredible lady. So we had fun, had some pizza last night, and I helped on some landscaping stuff around her house. So I did very little work. The rest of them, the family did most of the work.
You supervised?
I supervised, yeah. And I had a couple beers.
There you go.
And which I needed. Because there's so much going on, Sandy. There's so much going on.
The Milwaukee and Wisconsin, the hub of activity for the next week as preparations are happening for the Republican presidential primary on Wednesday of next week, but also with the being mentioned in indictments for former President Donald Trump, and then also preparations for the Republican National Convention next July. There is a lot going on in that world alone.
So I would term our topics today as big picture stuff. 10 o'clock hour, we're going to actually talk about COVID. I know that's, a lot of people just like to think it's the flu and not talk about it. But there's actually a bit of a resurgence happening, and I had some of these conversations offline yesterday. We're going to be joined by, from Freighter, Dr. Mary Beth Graham, who works with infectious diseases and is an expert on this stuff. And that's who I go to. I'm not a fan of internet knowledge. Well, I go to the real doctors. I go to the folks who work in these areas. And I know there's been a strong pushback from the public against medical professionals. I think it's unwarranted, but people do what they want to do and say what they want to say.
I've been in my circle. There's been a resurgence, and also I'm a big fan of the knowledge and the person who is Dr. John Raymond, from the president and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin, and got to know him a little bit with my work on Wisconsin's Afternoon News, and heard him just a couple of days ago talking about COVID-19, and I did kind of roll my eyes until I heard hospitalizations are going up. So this is a thing. It's something to take note of, especially in this warmer summer months as we're getting into back to school time and then getting into autumn. If we don't pay attention to it, if we just go, meh, not a big deal, so let's learn what we can about it now.
Yeah,
and how it's evolved. It has to have.
The conditions right now, you typically wouldn't see that resurgence. This is the time of year when that would take a step back. But so we're going to dig a little deeper into that in the 10 o'clock hour. And I would turn this also in for those all of you listening out there who are, I don't want to say COVID deniers, but frankly have had enough. I have a show poll up on Twitter, or the X now, that addresses that. We'll get to that in a second. That's all coming in the 10 o'clock hour. But the other big picture item is, we are still talking, unfortunately, about the election in 2020. We've seen multiple indictments against the former president, Donald Trump. And I'm going to bring some information to the program, and I'd love to know what you think about this. Now, as someone who read the 98-page indictment on Tuesday morning, which I encourage people to do, you can find it on our website at WTMJ.com. We've provided a link. New York Times has the link as well, as do most major media publications. Online or otherwise, you can find that information. So why do I bring this up today? I have said this from day one. The actions of the fake electors in Wisconsin, we'll get to some of their names in a second. The actions they took, I think, were criminal. Now, I've had guests on who have disagreed with me completely, including Rick Esserberg from WIL, Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, and I respect Rick's opinion. And if anything about this show, we try to bring differing opinions, because I think that's important, especially when you're talking about issues like this. But if you read the document, the latest indictment, Fulton County, Georgia, there's a mention about fake electors on page 17. And the mention in item 3, creation and distribution of false electoral college documents, is under the manner and method section, all related to this conspiracy by Donald Trump and other indicted individuals. Why does this matter in Wisconsin? Because Act 39, December 7, 2020, so roughly a month after the election, Attorney Ken Cheeseborough, Attorney James Trupis, contacted Wisconsin officials, Brian Schimming, and others, about creating this false document. They provided language, Attorney Cheeseborough did, for a Trump elector list. And we know that people signed on to this. Brian Schimming is now the head of the GOP in Wisconsin. And Cheeseborough went on to have phone conversations. Rudy Giuliani at one point joining the conversation. It's in the document if you want to read it. With these words, media should not be notified of this meeting. That statement on its own is indicting. And I think speaks to what was happening here. Now, this is my opinion. Again, not shared by everybody, including some attorneys and legal experts. Why I think this is illegal, why this state, including our Attorney General, Josh Kaul, who we've invited on the program, waiting to hear from his office, whether we can make that happen or not today or a different day. More than happy to have him on. I believe these actions were criminal. Why do I say that? And you can weigh in with your opinion on the Old National Bank talking text line 855-616-1620. The election was over. Donald Trump was not going to win this election. I know there were some legal challenges out there, but at that point, some legal challenges were already decided, and those legal challenges were all unsuccessful. This was an attempt to circumvent, my opinion again, the will of the voters by providing a fake set of electors, certifying this document in whatever sense they could, since it's a fake document, and then trying to provide that to Vice President Mike Pence later on so that he could reject the electors that were real in the state of Wisconsin, certified by the state elections commission, in place of these fake ones to take away the will of the voters and install or reinstall Donald Trump as president. That's my opinion. I'm really interested in what you have to say about this. 855-616-1620. I believe these actions were criminal. And we've seen this happen in states like Michigan, now Georgia. Those are 2 states out of 5 or 6 potential states that also did the same thing, including, I believe, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and probably I think Arizona. Who all did a similar thing. And if you look at the electoral map, the effort here was to get enough votes to change the will of the voters from electing Joe Biden for his first term as president and reelecting Donald Trump for his second term, which we all know did not happen. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. I believe the actions of the fake electors were illegal. I believe that Attorney General Josh Kaul, at some point in time, should go after those folks. What the charges will be, that's up to the Attorney General. Conspiracy to overturn an election, perhaps. Fraud, outright fraud, perhaps. I know those are powerful and strong words, but if we want to discourage, Sandy, people from doing this in the future, swift, we don't have that, right? That's kind of out the window now, 3 years later. Hard action, forceful action that says, you know what? You're not doing that anymore. That will not be allowed. You're not going to submit fake electors and hide in the Capitol building, specifically requesting that the media not be notified. Again, that's not open government.
So when we talk about election integrity, that is not the word that comes to mind if you're trying to do things behind closed doors and be secretive about it.
That is my question. Do you think these fake electors should be charged? I believe they should be. I believe Attorney General Josh Kaul from the state of Wisconsin should actively go after these charges. Now, whether he will or won't, we don't know yet, because he has so far in his public statement said he's taken a hands-off approach until the federal actions are determined and they've been allowed to proceed. I say that's not good enough. And in the case of Georgia and Michigan, those states have said, we're going after those folks. I believe we should do the same thing in Wisconsin. What do you think? 855-616-1620. Welcome your calls and texts. I see we got a few texts already. Join the conversation. You're listening, of course, Steve and Sandy, WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we talk about pending tax legislation and some of the hottest tax savings opportunities for retirees.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. When it comes to retirement, asking how am I doing is important, but if you're also wondering what you might be missing, that could be just as important. It's time to talk with Annex Wealth Management. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. It's about you, not commissions. Take full advantage of the CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys that are on staff and part of your team working on investment, retirement, estate, and tax planning. No one is the same. Annex gets that. You might need help with your Social Security strategy. How about 401k options, pension plan guidance, annuity analysis? When you're a client of Annex, help is only a visit or a quick phone call away. You won't be sent to a call center 5 states away. Check out Money Talk, the Annex Wealth Management Show, every Saturday morning at 10 right here on WTMJ. And listen to Dave Spano every Monday at 10:35 on WTMJ Now. Take action. Know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait. You do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
WTMJ Now.
Remind me who this is. You know who this is, right?
This is a band called After the Fire.
After the
Der
Fire.
Kommissar.
Yes. Is that their only hits? Are they a one-hit wonder?
They actually, that album, After the Fire, was really good. But yes, this was the hit.
Circa 80s.
Early 80s.
I was going to say 85.
No, early 80s.
Early 80s.
And remember the man named Falco who did Rock Me Amadeus?
Yeah.
He did a version of that song.
Oh.
Pretty fabulous.
Did they cash in on the MTV video?
Oh,
world?
gosh, yeah.
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 I don't recall ever seeing the video for that song. I have to look that up.
It was like soft, fuzzy lens woman, fancy woman going out on a date.
I feel like that was done a number of times.
It was definitely an early 80s video.
All right, we are talking about the fake electric case in Wisconsin, and we'll go through the list of names, and some of them are very recognizable, some are not. One of the interesting tacks that I saw, some of the people who are saying, leave these people alone, they were just trying to protect our freedoms and our votes and all that stuff, which I disagree with, is that several of these signers, what's the right term? Signers? I think both are right.
Sure.
Are old, elderly women. And the term they're using is leave the grannies alone. Last time I checked, doesn't matter how old you are. You break the law, you break the law. And I guess for all those folks who are so interested in, freedom and understanding how elections should work, maybe we should let the process play out. Right? If they're innocent,
I would say innocent until proven guilty.
Let's go through the process. But right now, we're not doing that. Peter joins us from Glendale. Hi, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My feeling is whether Trump or anybody else or anybody below him, we're lucky in this country and fortunate that we have the ability to vote for people in office. And anybody that interferes with it on any level deserves to be indicted, prosecuted, whatever. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, thanks for the call. I think Peter's right. Let's go through the process. Now, for all the I don't know if I told you this. I'm creating a whataboutism award. I may do it daily, might do it weekly. Whenever I say anything about Donald Trump, it's like, what about Hunter Biden? If Hunter Biden, and we know he did some things illegally, right? Made criminal charges against him. I'm fine with going after him. If there's a link between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, I'm fine with that proceeding as well. That's the process that we use in this country. But until that happens, I can only look at what's in front of me, and I see multiple indictments for the former president with a long list of co-conspirators.
And there is a special counsel looking into all of the Bidens.
And here's the funny thing about that, because the latest news is that now some Republicans are angry that a special counsel, a specific one, Weiss, was appointed in that case. Even though 34 Republican senators, about 6 months ago said that's who should be appointed. Now they don't like that, so now they're complaining about that. And that's the state of politics now. The constant complaints about what we do. From the Old National Bank talking text line, 2020 election, get real. He's dishonest and underhanded. Lauren, it's terrifying that people are defending these people for trying to subvert our electoral process. I'm not being dramatic. It's terrifying that people are still supporting Trump and all of his actions. From the 414, we have a two-tier court system in this country, one for Democrats and one for Republicans. Well, then let's fix that. But again, that's the system we have. And I had a long conversation with a friend of mine the other day about this very issue. And I said, this is what we have. We have a justice system, Department of Justice. We have the court system. We have Supreme Courts in our states and at the federal level. That's the system we have. Unless you're talking about some sort of a kangaroo court filled with internet experts and political hacks, what's the alternative? And the answer is there isn't one. This is the system of justice we have. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like the results. But that's the system that we've used for 247 years. All right, we have to get to an interview. This is right in that storyline. Joining us on the phone line, Brad Garrett
from ABC on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline. How are you today, Brad?
I'm good, thank you.
You've had a lot to read with the latest Georgia indictment, and what are some of your takeaways, especially involving the RICO charges?
So, just briefly, RICO basically is a way to charge a group of people. You have to show that there is a common pattern and mindset amongst them. So, in other words, if President Trump does something that Georgia says is illegal, that could be obviously on him. But it also could be on the other people, the other 18, because they're participating in a common theme. They're participating in all sorts of actions to try to reverse what happened in November of 2020. And so it makes it also easier to charge, let's say, these 19 on an act that each one of them didn't participate in, but they're part of this common group, if that makes sense. So, in other words, President Trump obviously was not involved in the allegations of, let's say, whatever it might be. There's like 5 different things that breaks down in the indictment, 5 areas. But it doesn't matter because he's basically would be considered the boss, and everybody else is doing basically his bidding at these various locations. So that's why they're all charged.
Brad, typically these RICO cases have been used for mafia dons and the leaders of the crime families, and the interesting connection, of course, is the Rudy Giuliani piece, who was somebody that was active in that area when he was in New York City. The criticism of this approach from Fulton County, Georgia, is this is not the same thing. Just some thoughts on the connections to RICO in this case, which is really about an election and someone trying to change the results.
Correct. That is a different twist. However, if you break it down into the various, sub areas, like lying to elected officials or trying to solicit elected officials, things like that, if it violates the law in doing those things, then it's just another crime. Now, the advantage Georgia has over the feds is in their statute, it covers more areas that you can use as RICO predicate offenses. But, having said that, the feds have also used RICO against, if you remember, Michael Milken, the junk bond guy. Mm-hmm. That was a RICO case. The recent, it's been about 10 years, the prosecution of FIFA, the soccer federation outfit, that was prosecuted under RICO. So it's been used in a number of white-collar cases. Is this a different twist? Yes, but from a legal law enforcement standpoint, you have to look at it. Are they violating the law in these various areas? And obviously, Fani Willis claims she has the evidence to support that.
In your experience, Brad, do you think that there can be a strong case made for prosecution in this, or is this really going to be difficult to prove, or does it have to be proved beyond reasonable doubt?
Well, it's certainly for a jury. It has to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know, obviously, what they have. I can tell you she's been investigating this case for 2.5 years, which would involve interviewing hundreds of people, which would also mean taped telephone calls, maybe some video, CCTV, emails. You're going to have to show, first of all, that a crime was committed, and then secondly, you have to show that there's a link between person X. Let's just, for sake of argument, say Sidney Powell. You have to connect Sidney Powell to President Trump and everybody else in this conspiracy. I don't know that that'll be that difficult to do, but to your point, will the jury really understand that? We'll have to see. But I've been told this is going to be on television, which I think is an excellent idea, and let the American public hear this.
That last point is brilliant. I think that it deserves to be seen and heard by everybody. ABC's Brad Garrett. Always appreciate your wisdom, Brad.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Kind of a great little add to our conversation since we're talking about the indictments in Fulton County, Georgia. And I love his historical perspective on some of this stuff. It's not that unique. And he mentioned the Milliken case and one other one, which escapes me.
FIFA.
Yeah, the FIFA case, the soccer, yes.
The corruption there.
So it's interesting that there actually have been some other applications that have been sort
beyond
of
organized crime.
Yeah. Interesting stuff from Brad Garrett.
ABC News crime and terrorism analyst, really fascinating man and very straightforward.
He's
very
so,
researched
he's so
and in-depth
yeah.
and experienced, so I
love
enjoyed getting information from Brad Garrett.
All right, we'll take a break. We're still soliciting your response to my demand, really, that the fake electors in Wisconsin should be criminally charged. It's okay to disagree, and I welcome those calls and texts. Give me your explanation, your reasoning behind that. Certainly welcome on this show. WTMJ Now is the program. Sandy and Steve, quick break.
More of WTMJ Now after this. This week on WTMJ.
ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
This will play out on television. It's very likely because of the openness of the Georgia laws.
The big names.
He is Major Garrett.
And just because you don't like the result doesn't mean you can endlessly contest it.
The stories you're talking about.
The Wisconsin Ohana. So, which means the Wisconsin family is who we're donating in the name, because it's everybody in Wisconsin in the community. So we're very grateful to be able to help.
News Radio WTMJ.
Doesn't it seem like you never have anything to wear? That's why I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Whether it's a designer top, jeans, an adorable skirt, or cute accessories, I always seem to find something I like. And at prices I love. Gently used women's clothing and accessories for far less than you thought possible. At St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368. This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickard. A lot of home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting their pre-approval and financing their new home. That's exactly what Jordan and Michelle did, and it wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Accunet for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. Every time you write an offer and lose, it's an emotional punch to the gut because you've already imagined having Thanksgiving dinner at that house. We're helping home shoppers and their agents write stronger, more convincing offers every day with powerful tools and strategies that really work. If you don't mind writing 5 losing offers, go ahead and get a flimsy generic pre-approval from your bank or credit union. But if you want the best shot at writing an offer that gets accepted, get a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet, and I'll personally join in on your offer strategy consultation like I did for Jordan and Michelle, whose very next offer was a winner. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
WTMJ Now.
We heard some of the wisdom of Brad Garrett, who's just an expert on this stuff, and in that conversation, the specifics of the RICO connections to this case in Fulton County, Georgia. I'm asking a bigger question and a more relevant question for those of us here in Wisconsin. We know that Michigan, the state of Michigan, has gone after their fake electors. We know that now Fulton County, Georgia, has mixed those people into their indictment against the former president with multiple charges. And I encourage people to read the document. It's an easy read. Now, somebody on Twitter said, of course it's an easy read because it's not legal. It's just mumbo jumbo, tweet this, tweet that. I disagree. There's some real substance to this thing, including laying out the case that the former president, Donald Trump, tried to interfere, actively tried to take actions, not just say words, because that's the defense I'm hearing from people. He's just saying words. He's just listening to his attorneys. No, he actually made the phone calls. He encouraged this fake elector thing that we're talking about by actively engaging his attorneys who are having conversations with local leaders, GOP leaders in our states, including the current chairman of the GOP. So those are real actions. So it's a little bit of a distinction. So we have the list of, I think it's important that we list the names. These are the people we're talking
Sure,
about.
these are the 10 who are accused of being fake electors. Andrew Hitt, chairman of the Republican Party of Wisconsin from 2019 through 2021, and he got unanimously reelected to that volunteer role in 2020 by the Republican Party of Wisconsin Executive Board. He is a partner at the consulting and lobbying firm Michael Best Strategies. He was also one of the people who was subpoenaed by the House January 6th committee. You also have Kelly Rue, who was also subpoenaed by the House January 6th committee. She's in office as an alderperson for De Pere, so she's still in office, chairwoman of the 8th Congressional District Republican Party, and a controller for Bay Industries in Green Bay. Carol Brunner, the vice chairwoman of Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District Republican Party. Edward Scott Grabens, he's the chairman of the Dane County Republican Party and is a technology professional, according to his LinkedIn profile. Bill Feehan, a business manager based in La Crosse and was a 2012 candidate for the District 32 Wisconsin State Senate. Robert F. Spindell Jr., who's gotten a lot of attention. He's been a commissioner on the Wisconsin Election Commission since 2019. And after Biden won the election, he was at a Stop the Steal rally at the state capitol in Madison.
He's still around.
Kathy Kiernan, 1st Congressional District Chairman for the Republican Party of Wisconsin. Daryl Carlson, currently the executive director of the No Better Friend Corporation, which is a conservative organization, and he ran an unsuccessful campaign in 2014 to run for the Wisconsin State Assembly. He's a veteran, also represented the 3rd Aldermanic District in Sheboygan, and he's also served in the Army National Guard. There's Pam Travis, treasurer of the Wisconsin Federation of Republican Women and the 7th Congressional District vice chairman for the Republican Party of Wisconsin. Mary Bustrin is the 10th. She's a national committee woman of the Republican Party of Wisconsin and supposedly done volunteer work supporting Republican candidates for over 50 years. And there's one more person who was slated to appear but replaced Tom Schreibel, also a partner at consulting and lobbying firm Michael Best Strategies and a national committeeman of the Republican Party of Wisconsin.
These are the names of the people, again, my words, who tried to circumvent the will of the voters in Wisconsin. Joe Biden won the election. Even organizations like the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty acknowledge that. It's not in question. They met in secret. They specifically asked that the members or the signees not disclose their appearances in this quiet, private meeting to the members of the media because they knew how it would look. Those are the individuals I feel should be charged by the state of Wisconsin for their participation in what is really the real steal the votes, steal the election charges that should be issued here. Now, we got lots of calls, lots of texts. You can join us and continue the conversation. 855-616-1620. We'll take a break. Let's get into it. Do you think these individuals should be charged? I say yes. What say you after this?
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzek telling you about the ultimate hangout for hounds and humans. It's the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. It's a state-of-the-art facility providing doggy daycare, boarding, and professional grooming services all on site. Hang out with your dog or without and enjoy time at their indoor-outdoor tavern connected to the dog park. Fun, happy, clean, and safe. They even have trained handlers on site at all times. Visit thehoundsandtap.com for more details. That's thehoundsandtap.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasslis.
What's your favorite number?
48, because you can get 48 months interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic at Hasslis Mattress.
The number 48 is associated with abundance and stability.
Like the abundant stability and comfort of Tempur-Pedic.
Prosperity and wealth.
Like a $300 MasterCard Rewards gift card with your Tempur-Pedic purchase.
I think 48 may be my favorite number too.
Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasslis.com.
Where are we putting that money, and why are we putting it there? At Financial Strategies, you'll get answers to those questions to understand our approach. And the answers are going to be based on what we've learned about you. We're very engaged with our clients so that what we do for them fits their particular needs. But there are other things that we do that are equally important to the investment management portion of our services. I can't express how important it is to control the things you can control. At the end of the day, most investment managers will end up yielding similar overall returns. But knowing how to manage them wisely to avoid your nest egg being eaten away by the tax man, all legally of course, well, that's what I truly believe sets us apart. This is Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., and we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
It's WTMJ Now.
Sandy, the Old National Bank talking text line is always interesting.
Well, it's useful. 855-616-1620. WTMJ Now. News, opinion, Wisconsin. News, opinion, why it matters. That's what those letters stand for. And we always welcome your experience, your perspective to help ideally build understanding. Mm-hmm. And these three texts came in almost in a row. From the 414, thank you for naming these criminals. Then from the 414, thank you for this list of patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 262, I love the opinions of Steve and Sandy. They call it right down the middle. They don't lean either way with this topic. It's called common sense, in my opinion. Great job, guys. So we got all the bases.
There's the spectrum of opinion and thought.
But that's exactly why it's important to discuss this, to get as much information out. You can read the indictment at WTMJ.com in the article about this, the Georgia indictment. It is unprecedented. It is important. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but this is something that we're exploring as we get into election integrity, as we get into an election that all eyes are on in 2024 and is important.
And
I think we all care about our country.
Absolutely. And this is real stuff. These people met in secrets in our Capitol building, not in the light of day, trying to hide their meeting from members of the media. And I encourage my Republican-leaning advocacy journalists to investigate that piece of it as well. I understand the argument, and look, I had Rick Essenberg on talking about this. They were protecting the interests of the Donald Trump campaign in case court said, you know what, there's something here. I get that argument. But you do that in the light of day. This was not that. We're going to bring in Dave quickly because we've got to get to break. Dave from Winnebago County. Hi, Dave. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. I agree with you 100% about prosecuting these people, but I also think that our senior Senator Ron Johnson could be added to that list, as he tried to turn in those false electors to the Vice President of the United States, President of the Senate, for consideration. And I think that's as wrong as what everybody else did.
It's an interesting charge, Dave. Thanks for the call. It's an interesting charge. He has denied it. But the interesting and great thing about the legal process, and I trust the court system, and if it rules against me, it rules against me. That's how it works. We find out the details of conversations, and we saw it detailed exquisitely in the 98-page indictment document from Fulton County, Georgia. We see when these things were happening. We see the contents based on their interviews with these potential witnesses. So if Ron Johnson did something, and I'm not saying he did, that led to this conspiracy to overturn an election, the details of the case, the witnesses that come forward, the witnesses that testify, may have a different thing to say than he's been saying since these accusations became public. That's the process. Don't be afraid of the process. And one more time, because I'm still getting text, emails, and a few other things about the Hunter Biden case. You can have two separate discussions about these things. What aboutism is the way that people react to anything Trump now? What about Hunter Biden? What about Joe Biden? What about all the... Yeah, if there's something wrong there, also the legal process should define it, indict it, and convict if guilty. That's the process. Quick break. WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics are in-network with most major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, and there have been thousands of patients that have received our pain relief treatment with zero out-of-pocket expense. Our FDA-approved treatments we'll use to remedy your pain are precisely guided to its root, to provide inflammation and cushioning relief to alleviate pain. What ends up happening is you begin on a pain maintenance plan, and how committed you want to be to alleviating your pain is up to you. But at the least, you can see us semi-annually to annually to, in many cases, significantly reduce pain in hips, shoulders, elbows, and knees. I'm Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Pain Clinics. We can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life. It's pain relief, really. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser, currently driving a pre-owned 2021 Lincoln Corsair. My brother-in-law, Tom, commented on it yesterday. He goes, wow, that's an incredibly looking vehicle. And how was the ride? I go, it's very smooth. Lincoln, always smooth ride. Looks fantastic. Interior is amazing. And oh, by the way, great gas mileage. Now, this certified pre-owned vehicle comes with a 6-year, 100,000-mile comprehensive warranty coverage, 200 points of inspection by factory-trained technicians, not some guy down the road, full vehicle history report, 24-hour roadside assistance, and oh, by the way, they throw in a full tank of fuel, fresh oil, and new wiper blades. You want to see what they're doing at Heiser, especially with Lincolns? HeiserLincoln.com. What else are they doing? No hidden market adjustment fees. Always, always, always priced under MSRP. All their great programs, safe and sound, roadside assistance for life, so much more. You can find out those details at Heiser.com. That's why they say every day, today's your day.
I just learned Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned, doubled. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. JamesImaging.com.
Eric Smith here from Austin Plumbing. When you own a well pump, air spitting from the faucets, a decrease in fluctuating water pressure, along with silty, gritty, slimy changes in water quality, are all symptoms that your well pump isn't well. At Austin Plumbing, we're well-rounded plumbers. I say that because we're one of the few companies around who can capably diagnose and repair all the symptoms related to well pump and water system problems. You know when your car needs service, right? Maybe it makes unusual noises. It sputters, jerks, seems weak, or stops altogether. That goes for your well pump too. We have all the special equipment needed and the master know-how required to electronically pinpoint the exact cause of your well and water issues. And we'll give you a price up front before any work begins. If your well pump is telling you it's not well, let's nip small problems in the bud before you're out of water and in deep, expensive trouble. Told you we were well-rounded. Austin Plumbing. Online at teamaustin.com.
WTMJ Now.
Stephen Sandy on this Thursday, a great text from the 715. Can you clarify what the alternative candidate's goal was? It seemed to remember that the alternate slate specifically said that they were to be used only in the case that your original slate was not accepted. I'm confused on why they would be illegal. I'm truly not for Trump. I'm just confused. Well, the legality question is to be determined. At least 2 states, Georgia and Michigan, have said it is illegal. Now, cases have to result, charges issued, convictions have to be obtained before it is determined that's an illegal activity. I'm asking the question, is it illegal? I say it is. I'm not a judge or a jury. Now, the reason that I've been given by folks I respect, attorneys I respect, is they were protecting the former president's interest in this election. If he were successful in these lawsuits, then this alternate slate of electors would take the place of the certified slate of electors in the state of Wisconsin and in other states as well, which we listed earlier. Here's my question. You're doing something you think is perfectly legal. Why do you do it not in the light of day, but in secrets, advising your members or people in the room with some advice from Rudy Giuliani on the phone, apparently, to not tell the media you're doing this? Does that sound like a legal process, or does that sound like a group of people who are very concerned that what they may be doing is breaking the law? It's a fair question. And oh, by the way, you made a great point in the break. The pandemic was going on.
Yeah, November of 2020, we were 6 months into it, and we weren't going to Thanksgivings. We were all separated.
Meeting.
Yeah, so to have pulled that off was maybe that was part of the reason not to let the media know.
Yes, Rome is calling from the airport. Hey, Rome, good to talk to you again.
Yes, good morning, and thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
And I just want to say thank you guys for being so expedient on getting my prize out. That was awesome.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Now, this whole thing is criminal. And at the top, Ron Johnson I don't think he's going to be sleeping well at night because Ron Johnson had an integral part in this. And as so many of your callers have said, this is treasonous. They need to be punished. It was very criminal. And I don't know how people can cover up for someone as criminal as our former president, Donald Trump, is. It just amazes me how people can buy into that and put their whole life on that. It's just ridiculous.
That's a great point, Roman. Thanks for the call.
I think it's the power. He still is the power broker in the Republican Party. And
I guess.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, at this moment, again, I caution people. National polling is not the same thing as state polling. And in many states, Donald Trump is not doing as well as he is nationally. And some current polling that suggests if he ever makes it to the presidential race against what seems like going to be Joe Biden on the other side of the political aisle, more than half the population says not only won't they vote for him, but that he should be convicted. That's not a winning recipe for success in a presidential election. So for Republicans who insist on making Donald Trump the candidate...
neither was his 2016 campaign of insulting people left and right.
Yeah.
Yet it worked.
I'll go
history has shown.
I'll go even further. There, as sick as this sounds, there are people in this country who are fans of bullies. Many of them are bullies themselves. There are people in this country who have unfortunately been brainwashed, and look at radio for some of that brainwashing, to think one way and to have complete disregard and complete hatred for anyone who disagrees. And that has led not only to political implications where one side can't get along, but personal, family relationships broken up by politics, all because of really one national political figure. Why does everybody hang on to this guy as if he has a recipe for freedom and for the future of this country? He's exhibited none of that. Doesn't mean he didn't have some good ideas policy-wise. He had some good advisors, things I agreed with. I like a conservative courts. Other people disagree. I think we have to pay attention to the border. The way he did it, I think, was flawed, but I think that's an important conversation. So I was a fan of the 2017 tax revisions. That being said, the individual, former President Donald Trump, is not who I think is a role model or an example of how a president should conduct themselves. And I've said it since day one. That's why I didn't vote for him. And I can't be any clearer than that. Do I hate Donald Trump? No. Do I think he's qualified to be president again? Absolutely not. And I can't be any clearer than that. And if you are a supporter of Donald Trump, you can vote the way you want to. That's the great thing about this country. You have choice, freedom of choice. And he will have a chance to be the nominee for this party. I think that's the wrong way to go. And if he makes it through to the general election in November of 2024, I think he'll get destroyed. And that's the reality. I made a comparison on Twitter today that he's the Hindenburg. He's a boat anchor for Republicans who want to win that race for president. Whatever you think about Joe Biden, you run Donald Trump against him, you get 4 more years of Joe Biden. Quick break. WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. It's a good thing they're in L.A. Now Mookie can finally get some solid sleep.
The pitch. Swinging a drive to left and deep. Get up! Get out! Here comes!
It's the Brewers and the Dodgers. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 8:35. We are the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Trees on the Move's field clearing sale is on now with savings up to 75%. 20 to 30-foot maples, elms, oaks, honey locust, and more. 12 to 18-foot spruce, arborvitae, and junipers are on sale too. Trees on the Move has to clear 40 acres, and this is your chance to buy big and save big. These trees are great for newer existing homes, landscape projects, or replacing trees lost to disease or storm damage. Trees on the Move's field clearing sale, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, Saturday 9 to 4, or see treesonthemove.com.
Life is just getting started at 3 Pillars, Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community. Located on 300 beautiful Lake Country acres, 3 Pillars is taking reservations for new high-end active adult residences. With 4 styles to choose from and amenities like a supper club, fitness center, spa, pub, dog park, trails, and gardens galore. The choice is easy as you start your next adventure. Learn more at 3pillars.org.
Shop Steinhoffel's new Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattress, made with a cooling technology that helps you sleep up to 10 degrees cooler. Queen Breezes start at $83 per month with Steinhoffel's 72-month financing. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368. This is Chief Home Buying Strategist Brian Wickert. A lot of home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting their pre-approval and financing their new home. That's exactly what Jordan and Michelle did, and it wasn't until after they wrote their 5th losing offer that they took their agent's advice and called Accunet for a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval and offer strategy consultation. Every time you write an offer and lose, it's an emotional punch to the gut because you've already imagined having Thanksgiving dinner at that house. We're helping home shoppers and their agents write stronger, more convincing offers every day with powerful tools and strategies that really work. If you don't mind writing 5 losing offers, go ahead and get a flimsy generic pre-approval from your bank or credit union. But if you want the best shot at writing an offer that gets accepted, get a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from Accunet, and I'll personally join in on your offer strategy consultation like I did for Jordan and Michelle, whose very next offer was a winner. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. It's WTMJ Now.
Oh, I got to read this one, Sandy. I love the folks on the Old National Bank talking text. Now, here's what I'm encouraged by.
855-616-1620.
There's a tremendous diversity of opinion, from love Trump to hate Trump and everything in between.
And experiences and memories.
Yes,
and
that is the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
That is the sweet spot for any show. Well, let me say this. That should be the sweet spot for any show. Now, I often read the texts that are critical, and I'll do that now. 262, Steve, you are the bully. Think of all the bullying you did during COVID without all the information, as we all knew at the time. So they all knew the information, but I didn't, except for you. They weren't releasing all the COVID information, but you stuck your chest out and put out one-sided information. Interesting you brought that up. One, I don't think I'm a bully, and if you want to think that, that's fine, and thanks for listening. You don't have to agree with me. That's the great thing. But when I was talking about COVID, I always went with what the experts were telling us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't a doctor, and I'm guessing that...
You're still not.
Yeah, I'm still not, and I'm guessing the 262 is not a doctor either, otherwise you would probably put that in your text. So we can only trust, other than, crazy speculative talk radio talk, that's who should we trust. Now, do things change? Yes, science changes. We learn things, which is why we're excited that we're going to be joined by a guest I had on many times during the beginning of the pandemic, Dr. Mary Beth Graham from Freighterts. Is going to join us right after the top of the hour news.
Yeah, because I have questions about how hopefully this has evolved into a more manageable virus. That's my hopeful part. But yeah, you and I have been experiencing people in our circles who have tested positive. So you and I are negative right now.
Yeah.
Tested negative.
Freshly tested. Yes. I'm good. My 21st straight successful test, no COVID. So I didn't
keep track.
I wrote them all down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like a record keeper. I wrote them all down. Dates and then the results. And so far, so good. Now, I'll say that I'll probably get COVID next week.
Let's hope not. Yeah.
Let's hope not.
But we'll get you updated with information from Dr. Graham?
Yes, and I'm excited about it because I haven't talked to her in probably a year and a half, 2 years, and I used to talk to her quite a bit. So we're excited to have her on. That's all coming in the 10 o'clock hour. And yes, we will entertain your thoughts about COVID, because I know I was at a family thing last night. Strong opinions, including it's just the flu. So we'll have those conversations, including that direct question to Dr. Mary Beth Graham. Is it just like the flu? And maybe she'll surprise me. But we'll have that conversation. Mm-hmm. That's all coming up after the news, which is next right here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Demi Loziga here. I've been wanting to shade in my backyard for years, and now that dream is coming true thanks to my friends at Comfort Awnings, located in Burlington. It's a local family-owned company that provides expert installation servicing Southeast Wisconsin and Northern Illinois. They came out to my house and walked me through the whole process, from different colors and fabrics, custom fit to my home's exterior and backyard. Right now, you can receive $200 off awnings and screens until the end of August. Call 414-AWNINGS for a free estimate or visit comfortawnings.com.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Something's cooking at Dodger Stadium. And it's not the fans in the LA Sun.
Hammered to left. Oh my goodness, what a shot. Carlos Santana up into the night and almost over all the bleachers at Dodger Stadium for a home run.
The Brewers and the Dodgers play tonight with coverage starting at 8:35 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it is 73 degrees, a high today of 78, becoming sunny, windy. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. We do have an air quality advisory in place the next few days because of the Canadian wildfires. Now, what we're being told is that this won't see the smoke concentration that we've had in the past, but still, it will be unhealthy for some, especially those who have some breathing issues. Now, 20,000 people in the town of Yellowknife, Canada, being forced out of town today due to the threat of yet another wildfire in that area. It's forecast to blow through later this week. ABC's Ginger Z says it's just one of a series of fires that have decimated portions of Canada all summer long.
When you look at the acreage burned, most people don't know what that, estimates or looks like. Basically, across Canada, if you put all the fires and acreage burned, it would be bigger than the size of the state of New York.
Again, you can expect some particles and some air quality issues across Wisconsin for the next couple of days through the weekend. Danielle Jones, the former owner of Two Helping Hands Daycare in Milwaukee, is now facing 4 counts of physical abuse of a child. The daycare has been shut down since the last September, and one of the parents whose 2 children attended Two Helping Hands tells TMJ4 News she feels betrayed by Jones.
I chose that place because a family member of mine worked there, and I trusted her with my kids, and I'm going to work trying to provide for them, and the whole time he's getting abused without me even knowing.
Milwaukee police still trying to identify children that were seen in surveillance photos seen being abused. They're also asking anyone whose children attended in July and August of last year to give them a call again to Two Helping Hands. A woman from Texas is now in custody for threatening to kill the judge overseeing the election fraud case against former President Donald Trump.
According to court documents, Abigail Jo Schrei of Alvin, Texas, called the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. and left a threatening message using a racist term for U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan. Schrei saying, "You are in our sights. We want to kill you." She went on to say if Trump doesn't get elected in 2024, we're coming to kill you, so tread lightly. Schrei's been charged with 1 count of transmitting a threat to injure another person. That's a felony, and it carries a maximum prison term of up to 5 years. Schrei has been charged 4 times in the past year for engaging in similar conduct. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
You can call it Honechella. It's the latest event organized by the Light the Hone group that's been raising money to light the iconic bridge in Milwaukee. Now, new lights were installed on the west side of that bridge back in 2020. You've seen the colors change depending on the season or the sports teams or whatnot. Well, organizer Ian Epstein was part of the effort to raise those funds. He tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
A lot of great community support. One thing about this city is they're generous people here. So we're so proud of Light the Hone and what has been able to come. And there's thousands of dedications on there for like $25 a piece.
So today, Honechella kicking off later this afternoon downtown, fundraising for lights on the lake-facing side of the Hone Bridge. The hope is to have those lights installed by the RNC. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ NX Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 50 to 34,816. The NASDAQ is down 55 to 13,419. And the S&P flat at the moment, up just a fraction to 44.05. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit nxwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, weather next, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:03.
Did you know that the brownie was invented in Chicago for the World's Fair? It's true. Discover the Chicago neighborhoods and stories you didn't know about on a Chicago Food and City tour. Enjoy a delicious brownie and all of the other Chicago-style dishes on our Iconic Foods of Chicago tour. Immerse yourself in our culturally rich neighborhood tours of Chinatown and Pilsen. Or explore the best of Restaurant Row on a West Loop tour, perfect for food lovers. Meet us in Chicago for your next weekend getaway. Book your tours at chicagofoodtours.com.
Evans Transportation is stoked for the Milwaukee baseball playoff push. After all, they're the complete player when it comes to logistics. But instead of being a 5-tool player, Evans is the ultimate 3-tool logistics partner. When manufacturers have accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, they come to Evans. And for the record, Evans is happy to leave the stuff to the real players. They'll stick to logistics. Good luck to Milwaukee from Evans and Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com.
The workplace has changed a lot thanks to technology, and more recently, the shift to a flexible or remote schedule. Your business must adapt to maintain a great culture, attracting quality candidates and keeping them. You need Smart Spaces. The team of interior integrators at Smart Spaces brings creativity and expertise, assessing the walls, ceiling, lighting, flooring, furniture, and audiovisual systems to create places that matter in the modern world, fully functional for those in the building and for others to interact remotely. Get started today at smartspaceswi.com.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car's not one of them. That national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. And member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
What? The car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adamm.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Clayton Kershaw tossed 5 strong innings, and Mookie Betts scored 4 times as the Dodgers go on to beat the Milwaukee Brewers by a final of 7-1 on Wednesday night. With the loss and a Chicago and Cincinnati win, the Brewers losing a game in the race for the top spot in the National League Central, now leading by only 2.5 games. Milwaukee will look to avoid the sweep tonight with a first pitch of 9:10 in Los Angeles. From the diamond to the NFL, as the Green Bay Packers welcomed in the New England Patriots to begin a pair of joint practices in Titletown on Wednesday afternoon. Packers-Patriots will hit the practice field again later today before their Week 2 preseason matchup on Saturday night. Lastly, to women's soccer in the wake of the U.S. team's elimination by Sweden in the round of 16 at the 2023 Women's World Cup, Vlatko Adovansky has stepped down as manager of the U.S. women's national team.
I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 94 eastbound is slow at the moment. So from Highway 16 into the zoo, you're looking at maybe a 20-minute trip there. So we have an accident near F, so near Highway F. Now that's over to the shoulder, so you're getting past it. There's a squad there, but that's slowing things down. Plus you have road work, so you're losing a lane there. You're losing the right lane. So because of that, just seeing some slow delays there. About a 20-minute trip at least getting to the zoo interchange. The rest of the way into downtown is fine. 4145 South, Highway Q to the zoo is looking good. That's 15. And heads up 43 northbound into the Hale interchange there, the connector ramp up to 894 North, very slow at the moment. You'll get through it, but you'll see some brake lights.
Traffic sponsored by Wettiger Compressor, the Midwest air compressor experts. Visit pressureisoff.biz.
Servicing world-class Wisconsin manufacturers for 9 decades. Contact Wettiger Compressor at pressureisoff.biz.
Wettiger Compressor.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast for today: sunny, windy, and a high of 78. Of course, we will have some air quality advisories in place until Monday because of the wildfires. Tonight, clear, cool, and breezy, a low of 58. Friday, sunny tomorrow, high of 78. Saturday, warm, a high of 85. Sunday, a high of 90. Monday, sunny and a high of 87 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 73. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Now, here's your hosts, Sandy Maxx and Steve Scaffidi.
And happy Thursday, everybody. Now, we're going to get right to it because I made it my show poll today. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But our special guest, I have not talked to Dr. Mary Beth Graham in probably over a year at least, maybe longer than that. She's medical director for infection prevention and control at Frederick Hospital and associate chief of the Division of Infectious Disease at the Medical College of Wisconsin. She's one of the smarties, and I love talking to her during the pandemic, even though the subject was tough, and she joined us on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Great
I felt like saying, I'm back.
That's right. We talked so much during the pandemic. I mean, and I guess the easy question to start, are we still in the pandemic, or is this post-pandemic? What is this?
So the issue, it depends on when you talk about, is coronavirus still here? The answer is yes. Are we still seeing the same number of cases that we saw previously in 2000, 2001? The answer is no. Are we seeing the same number of hospitalizations? The answer is no. But is the virus gone? The answer is no. So, the issue is that we call this the post-pandemic phase, but it's not a time to sit here and say, well, it doesn't exist anymore. The same as with influenza. Influenza is always here, comes in waves, and every year during respiratory virus season we think about it. SARS-CoV-2 will always be with us, unfortunately.
So I had a family conversation as part of a gathering last night, and one of my family members, who I love, said, this reemergence, COVID is just the flu. As a medical professional, is that accurate? Is that what we should be saying?
It depends on what you mean when you say it's just the flu. So the issue is with regards to morbidity, mortality that we see with that specific virus, again, SARS-CoV-2, which is the etiologic agent of COVID, the manifestation of that viral illness varies between different people. It's the same as with influenza. So younger, healthier people can have milder courses that don't land them in the hospital versus older individuals, especially those over the age of 70 and those who are immunocompromised or immunocompromising conditions, transplant, et cetera, it can kill them, the same as influenza can. So if you dismiss flu, you don't recognize the severity of the thousands of patients who die every year from influenza. And the same thing is going to happen from SARS-CoV-2.
As a medical professional, somebody who studies these things and teaches these things, is it frustrating when we, I don't want to say trivialize, but just downplay some of the impact of these pretty dangerous diseases?
So the issue is it's the balance. So do you want to be paranoid and live in a bubble? No. But do you need to use common sense and think about things with regards to what is my risk? What is the risk of the people whom I live with or whom I'm around, and what do I need to do to protect them? So again, for healthcare professionals, we always think about annual influenza vaccination, not only because of what we are potentially exposed to, but as healthcare professionals, we want to be as healthy as possible when we're going in to take care of our patients and not spread things to them. I will tell you from a personal standpoint, I avoided the lovely vid, which I've now called it that, for 3 years and 8 months, and I took a plane ride on July 31st and on July 28th. And on July 31st, I was as sick as I have ever been.
Wow.
And that was my first experience with COVID. Fever for 4 days. Sore throat that couldn't swallow, horrible, body aches, diarrhea, fatigue. It's just the flu. I was down and out I was out of work for a week. So the issue is, you can sit there and be flippant and say, it's just the flu. But again, it can affect a lot of people in different ways. So my mantra for all of my patients as I see them this year and they're asking me about should I get the booster vaccine, I'll talk to them about their risk and with regards to their underlying medical conditions and that they should, consider, again, getting their flu vaccine and also getting the SARS-CoV-2 and then the new RSV vaccine, the respiratory syncytial virus. For certain patient populations, RSV can be deadly. So again, based on what your risk is, your age, et cetera, let's talk about things that you can do to protect yourself further.
And Dr. Graham, it sounds like you may have avoided some of the long-term symptoms. Did you feel anything with that?
I'm still tired. I'm about 2.5 weeks out, and I'm still tired. The funny thing with me was it took me over 2 weeks for my antigen to become negative. So again, when I'm going to work, even though I was back at work, I was wearing a mask full time until I finally had 2 negative antigen tests, which that's a little different than what's reported. They say most people's antigen will go away within 7 to 10 days. And I don't know if it's because I took Paxlovid. I actually prescribed myself Paxlovid. I'm over 60, and so I said, I'm in the age group where they said I should take it. Again, on a personal note, it was one of the most god-awful medicines I've ever taken in my life. This thing called Paxlovid mouth, OMG. It was horrible. And so I'm sitting here going, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? And I don't know, they talk about Paxlovid rebound, but they also talk about rebound in patients who didn't take it. So I don't know if my antigen remained positive longer because I took that medication. But again, from my risk stratification because of my age, I said, yes, I should take this medication. But anyway, no, back at work, it's not slowing me down any. And we're running new COVID trials here at Fredericton Medical College. There are new medications that are out there on the market that are being studied for especially hospitalized patients because our armamentarium is still fairly low. So if we do have patients who are admitted, we do have our traditional standard of care approaches plus some additional medications that we'll be able to offer our patients.
And Dr. Graham, I think we've had some upticks of cases in certain circles and including at work. And it first just immediately triggered me like the exhaustion. Like I was a person who wiped everything off, wiped everything down, wore masks, took all the advice. So it was just like, oh, do we have to go back into this world? Are we closer to just the simple, hey, stay at home if you're sick with anything contagious, or are we still at a level where truly your fellow employees should be notified through your HR department? And
oh, we do.
Okay.
We notify everybody. So essentially, if we have employees who are positive, they report it to occupational health, and depending on whether they were at work or who they had contact with, there are notifications that go out to all the contacts. Now, do they need to isolate? No. But again, the issue is that we alert people with regards to that. And again, I think it's a logical thing to do so that people know. My husband also got COVID. I got it on an airplane. He got it. His symptoms were minimal. I mean, his symptoms were really minimal, doggone it. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
But we're still in the world of trying to stop that spread.
Yeah, no. But again, it's using, so with regards to the spread, I've seen some stuff on the internet where they're talking it's time to mask again. Again, if you are in a certain risk category population, if you're going to go, I swear, I'm never going on an airplane again without a mask on, period. I'm just not, and it's no big deal. I usually sit in the aisle seat. I read my Kindle book the entire time I'm on the flight. I don't really do anything else, and wearing a mask isn't going to bother anybody. It's not going to bother me. So it's one of those things where, just thinking about common sense things that you can do if you're potentially at risk. Do we need to shut down schools? No. Do we need to Lysol everything in sight? No. Do we need to Lysol off our food from the grocery store? No. But again, if you are in one of those age groups, again, it's usually the over 65, especially those over the age of 75. Please consider getting your vaccine. If you're going to be in large groups of individuals that you don't normally work with or around, again, can you go to those? Of course you can, but let's say you're 75 years old and you went to the Pink concert. It might have been nice to wear a cute little pink mask to the Pink concert.
Fashion accessory.
Yeah, could I put rhinestones on it? Just don't have it be crocheted like some people wore in the past.
So
anyway,
this question comes up every time that we talk about, and I've had this I've asked you this question before. Ivermectin. Any evidence, data, studies that suggest it does anything when it comes to COVID?
No, pretty much the studies that they went back and looked at, and they looked at it proactively, and in countries, even countries that initially said, oh, it looks like it might do something, then they went back and did what were called controlled, comparative, placebo-controlled trials. It didn't show any benefit.
So let me ask the next question in a general sense. What do you say to elected officials, leaders who suggest that it does do something to prevent COVID or to heal people who have COVID? What, as a medical professional, what's your response to that?
I don't argue with them. To be honest, I don't get into that discussion because you can't. There's so much emotion on each side. There's a lot of emotion of people saying masks don't work, which just drives me crazy.
Can you explain that? Because we are getting some questions on the Old National Bank talk and text line, 855-616-1620, of whether or not masking is effective. Does it prevent you from giving it to someone else, or does it prevent you from inhaling it?
So the issue is it's kind of a two-way street. And so if the person who has COVID is wearing a mask, it can cut down on the dispersion of viral particles that just come out of your mouth when you talk and you breathe, all right? But it's not 100%. If the other person is also, if you know you have COVID and you're with other people and they are they're not wearing a mask, there is a potential that you could spread this. So when I'm seeing, when I'm seeing patients, I told them afterwards, that I'm wearing a mask because I still tested positive. Now, granted, I was also wearing an N95 mask, which was, fit tested for me in the hospital. So that actually doesn't allow any of my basically respiratory virus, anything to come out. In the community, if you're just wearing a regular surgical mask, those potentially could come out. So that's not the type of mask that I wore when I was seeing patients when my antigen was still positive. But again, if you know that you have COVID around somebody else, both people wearing a mask is absolutely the best protection, because one, on the mask on the one person who doesn't have it, it prevents those particles from getting into the nose and the mouth. And for the person who has COVID, it cuts down on that dispersion of particles that are coming out of your nose and your mouth.
One final question. We're joined by Dr. Mary Beth Graham from Frederick in the Medical College of Wisconsin. This is a golf course conversation. I've traveled internationally a number of times. I've traveled domestically. I've been in stadiums full of people. I've been in concerts with people all around me. I've been in workplace situations where the person literally tested positive for COVID the next day that I was with them. I've never gotten COVID. I've had all the kinds of tests you can have to have COVID. Are some people just immune to it, or is it just luck?
There are some interesting studies that are going on. There's a study at Rockefeller University that is actually recruiting individuals to try to say, okay, if you've never had this, been exposed, is there something about you that prevents you from getting this? Because if we think about the way these respiratory viruses will come in, the type of receptors that they bind to in your upper respiratory tract, et cetera, is there something about you that is less hospitable to this particular virus? And that's still being studied, and they're finding, they're trying to find things, is there something specific, is it this ACE2 receptor, is it this, is it that? So yes, there are some people who haven't gotten it. And again, the whole question comes up, is it related? Has somebody had a vaccine? Has somebody had a subclinical infection, where they didn't know that they had it? Do they have antibody? I mean, those are all the questions that are still unknown out there with regards to why some people do and why some people don't. And it's the same with, looking at influenza. A lot of times you'll go through flu season, people who never get flu vaccinated but don't get the flu, but then there's other individuals who will. There can potentially be different reasons why people are more susceptible to respiratory viruses than others. It may be the immune system. It may be the waning immune system of somebody who's older. Just a lot of different things.
Dr. Mary Beth Graham, Frederick, Medical College of Wisconsin, and a subject matter expert, and I've enjoyed all of my conversations. Thanks for taking the time and sharing your wisdom on this. I think it's a nice way to kind of set the table for what I think is going to be an interesting conversation as kids get back to school and the fall arrives, because that's really the time we start to see some of the rise in these numbers. So thanks for setting it up for us.
All right. Have a good day.
Absolutely. That's why I love having her on, because she lays it out in the most clear way possible. Thanks to Dr. Mary Beth Graham for taking the time to join us on WTMJ.
All right.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Brewers fans, it's me, Dom Catronio, host of Brewers Extra Innings, here to tell you that you can now catch Brewers Extra Innings wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, and of course, WTMJ.com and the WTMJ mobile app. Every stat, every storyline, and of course, highlights from the games this season following the Brewers all year long. Catch Brewers Extra Innings, presented by Fifth Third Bank, right here on the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For educators, I remember I joined last year. Absolutely love working with educators. You will too. When you open an Educators Credit Union checking account, you can say goodbye to surprise fees and hello to a whole lot of perks. Enjoy their rewards program, cash back, discounts. They're really cool card customization. You can have fun with that. I did an Oak Creek card. Absolutely love it. With their convenient digital services and nationwide network of over 60,000 fee-free ATMs, you can also access your account anytime, anywhere. Join Educators Credit Union today and take advantage of all the benefits that come with a checking account. Get started, like I did, at ECU.com. Of course, federally insured by NCUA.
Arvid, what's with all the caution tape?
No idea, Nicole.
Step back from the table.
Ben, what's going on?
I'm warning people not to look at the Sandra table from Penny Mustard.
Why?
Because this table is not for the faint of heart.
Well, the Sandra is far from ordinary.
But it is extraordinary.
There's something about the way natural light reflects off the iron to give it a one-of-a-kind look.
If you prefer the appearance of a traditional dining room table, do not seek out the Sandra table in our showroom.
Ben?
And should you choose to search for the Sandra table on pennymustard.com, we are not responsible for feelings of shock, awe, confusion, surprise, bewilderment, speechlessness, flabbergastedness, and or ennui.
Wow.
You've been warned.
Come see the uncommonly awesome Sandra table, starting at $30.94, paired with sophisticrafted steward chairs for just $3.65 each, only at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
When it's time for a new lawnmower, buying local is important. Purchasing one from Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment means you're well taken care of after the sale. Their knowledgeable staff handles the warranty and parts, can answer all of your questions, and is available to do tune-ups and repairs. Check out the impressive line of lawnmowers on display at the Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment showroom in Muskego. And tune in to the Fix-It Show this Saturday morning at 7, when an expert from Olson's will answer all your power equipment questions.
WTMJ Now.
Now, I don't just talk about topics. We don't just talk about topics. We want to hear what you have to say. Now, we already have seen some criticism, including one. Jim says, Dr. Mary Beth Graham is wrong. Now, I want to just remind people, that is your opinion, Jim. But again, if I'm going to weigh the opinions of Jim from Economowoc and an infectious disease specialist from Frederick in the Medical College of Wisconsin, Jim, and I love the fact that you listen to the show. I appreciate you, loyal listener, love that. I'm always going to err on the side of the doctor. I just am. Because she's a subject matter expert, which is why she's on the show. And I can base that on the fact that I've had probably at least a half dozen conversations throughout the pandemic and post-pandemic, as she said, where I can trust the advice she's providing. And I thought she was great on the mask thing. I thought she was great on a real-life story of where she was exposed on a plane, she says, and got COVID and was sick as she's ever been. I think was her exact words. That's the reality. And I just want to remind people, I know a family, 4 people in this family, all over, I think, over the age of 45, 50. 3 of the people died of COVID. None of them vaccinated, none of them boosted. And if I talk to the one person left, she agonizes over those decisions. Trust me. That's a real story of a real family. Does that mean your family's all going to die from COVID? No. That's one family. But certainly, these are the things and these are the reasons why we talk about this. Do I want to alarm you? I just want you to be aware of what
have the
information
to protect yourself in the way that you want to, and if whatever you choose, but at least you have the information. And I was very glad that she answered the question about masks, because as it is, I feel like surge is such a strong word, but there have been 5 cases in the circle that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't even thought about COVID-19 for quite some time. So it makes me think, okay, do I need to have a mask in my pocket like I used to always have?
Yeah.
Is it useful? So to have her conversation of each of you wearing a mask, yes, very useful. So it's a simple level of protection, especially if you're using an N95.
Yeah, and I had a nice run, I think about a year where I didn't test. Maybe not a year, 9 months. Now I've tested 3 times in the last 6 weeks. So clearly that suggests something's going on. And I know every one of the individuals in our office that has COVID, because we do a good job of reporting. And I think if you're a responsible adult, and in my case, I know that my wife, this is public information, is immunocompromised. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I don't bring something home, or if I do, I get away from her so that she's not challenged health-wise. That's being a partner and in my case, a spouse, being responsible adults. And, you know, I get the political ramifications of this. And the ironic thing is, maybe not ironic, the crazy thing is that in states that are dominated by Republicans, more people got COVID, more people died. You think that's a coincidence? I don't. So that's the reality. A couple things to get to. If you have a thought, we're going to stay on it because we have some great comments from Dr. John Raymond,
President and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin,
yes,
who's
another
always
subject matter expert.
Yes, he's smart, and I kind of call him the Mr. Rogers of medicine. He is a gentle, kind, and extremely smart person who we had the chance to talk with. He was a regular visitor to Wisconsin's Afternoon News, and he discussed this very well a couple of days ago. So we'll re-air part of that conversation.
Yeah, we'll bring that to you after the break. You want to join the conversation because I know you have thoughts. I'm reading them on the Old National Bank. Talking text line 855-616-1620. And as we always say, you don't have to agree with us. That's why I read the comment from Jim right away. You don't have to agree.
But we call this now News Opinion and Why It Matters, or News Opinion in Wisconsin. And why it matters is we're all going to be heading more indoors, whether it's back to school and just not being able to hang out outside. So to not address it now would be foolish.
We'll continue the
Have some
conversation.
information.
Yes, absolutely. We'll continue the conversation after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Oh, I'm already running late. Let's go.
There is a backup on I-94 eastbound.
Wait, is that Debbie Lazaga?
Expect delays.
Well, how bad is it?
Alternate routes will help you in your journey.
I feel better.
Get where you need to go calmly with traffic reporter Debbie Lazaga, only on News Radio WTMJ.
Follow me on social.
It's WTMJ's Brandon Snide here for Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Summer is still going strong, and Wisconsin Harley-Davidson in Oconomowoc has all the fun going on. Join Wisconsin Harley-Davidson this Saturday, August 19th for a bike and car ride organized by the Carpenters Union and Local 314, all to benefit Logan's Hearts and Smiles with music by Random Maxx, food, and much more. Check out WISHD.com or like and follow Wisconsin Harley-Davidson on Facebook and Instagram. That's WISHD.com. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your destination dealer.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
I'd been living with a snoring problem nearly my entire life. In fact, I can remember my mother teasing me, saying that I'd snore so loudly that the walls of our house would cave in with each breath.
Fast forward only recently, when Jessica's snoring forced her husband out of their bed and into another room. It's a pretty common situation. We call it a sleep divorce, and that's not good. I'm Dr. Mothin Kandula with Advent. After Jessica had a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, we found that her snoring problem required a simple solution. In-office balloon sinuplasty. It's a 20-minute procedure, and it works. You won't find it offered by Big Box Healthcare, but you will find it at Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available. You can hear more of Jessica's story at adventknowsjessica.com and take your first step towards breathing well so you can live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
It's WTMJ Now.
We asked for your thoughts on our conversation with Dr. Mary Beth Graham from Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin. A couple quick texts, and then we're going to listen to Dr. John Raymond, who also is a subject matter expert. And again, just to establish a baseline, if I have a internet knowledge, social media knowledge versus a specialist in infectious diseases, 100% of the time, I'm going with the experts. 100% of the time. Does it mean they're perfect? No, nobody's perfect. Does it mean Dr. Anthony Fauci was perfect? Absolutely not. That's not the reality of the world we live in. No one is perfect. Trust me. All right. I want to read this one because I think it's got some really great points. You know, I don't want to wear a mask, and I don't think anyone else really wants to either, but my wife works for a medical facility clinic. During COVID and the masking mandate period that went on, not only COVID cases were reduced, but things like strep throats, colds, and respiratory illnesses not related to COVID were at an all-time low, which they contribute to people wearing masks. And the data suggests that's exactly right. Is that the biggest coincidence of all time? No. We were protecting each other. We were washing our hands more. We were wiping surface. I wiped the surface down yesterday because now we have active COVID cases in and around us. That's being a responsible human being. Why is that controversial? Because a politician says it is? Please.
Yeah, and because I mentioned that we'd want to get ahead of this if this is going to be a surge before we go back inside and back to school, I'm going to read the text from 262 on the Old National Bank talk and text line, 855-616-1620, 262 texted in. Now we know why Sandy got picked to be on your show. Another person probably looking to shut down the schools and put kids in masks again. Let the insanity continue. It's the Democratic way. I specifically said, let's get ahead of this. And also Dr. Graham said, we're not looking to shut down schools. And this goes back to the very basics of I got a virus 20 years ago. It was a madness. It was a horrible experience. I remember crying to my doctor, like, what can I do to never get this again? And she said, honestly, wash your hands a lot. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I remember that from ages ago. It is, again, maybe all we need is the reminder of, hey, be smart, get back into some of those good habits of simply washing your hands and being mindful. I am not looking to shut down anything. I didn't enjoy that 3 years ago either.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go back to what I said probably 2 or 3 years ago. If your first reaction to a pandemic or the spread of a virus or disease is to be angry at people, you're doing it wrong. That's not a proper response. What happened to compassion? What happened to group understanding? How about working together? You know, these things are serious. People can die. Does it mean you're going to die? Probably not. But if you're in one of those risk groups, chances are more likely that you could have a serious adverse impact from COVID-19. That's the reality. That's not internet reality. That's from the experts in infectious diseases. All right, we've mentioned the name, Dr. John Raymond, who's often on Wisconsin Afternoon News. Little bit of what he said on COVID-19, this reemergence on WAN.
Wanted to ask you about COVID. New variant, hospitalizations rising, new vaccines in a month. Give us an update on COVID. We've had several cases here at our workplace in the last month with people being out now and the notifications going out. Are we entering a new phase? What can you tell us about COVID?
Well, it looks like we've consistently had a surge during the late summer in all years of COVID, and that may be a pattern that's going to be going forward in the future. However, right now, the surge is starting at a very low level and not going up anywhere near to the heights that it was in the last 2 summers. So there's been about a 40% increase in COVID hospitalizations in the United States over the last couple of weeks, maybe 10% here in Wisconsin. And the wastewater levels of COVID-19 are increasing in many communities, but not so much in Wisconsin. They've been relatively stable, except for Eau Claire, Kenosha, Janesville, and La Crosse. But even there, the copy numbers are pretty low. So we can expect that there will be a surge, but it's not going to overwhelm the capacity of the hospitals.
I want to ask you about the vaccine situation because it's been a while since I've been told you can get a booster or there's anything new on that front. Fall is coming. Will there be a new vaccine available? What does that look like?
It looks like there'll be at least one new vaccine available. The first one on the market will be mRNA, and this is a monovalent vaccine that only has one target. The boosters that we've been using the last couple of years had the original COVID-19 virus as one of the antigens, and then some that were circulating in 2021 and 2022. The new vaccine is going to be targeted against the Omicron strains, and it'll be effective against XBB, which has been circulating now for the last 6 months, and a new strain called EG.5 or Eris, which seems to be taking off. So what I would say is if you're vulnerable, consult with your doctor and make sure that this will work for you. So that would be people over the age of 60 and people with pre-existing comorbid conditions. And also check with your insurance company. It looks like the price point is going to be pretty expensive, about $110 per dose for this new booster. I would, again, recommend this for people that are at risk. The CDC hasn't made recommendations for people that are in lower risk categories yet. They'll probably make that recommendation sometime in the fall.
That is Dr. John Raymond appearing with John McCure for the Wisconsin Afternoon News program. Some more advice and some suggestions about what's going to happen this fall as we kind of return to school and all the other things we do in the fall.
Dr. Raymond is the president and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin, very focused on research at that organization, and he's been following this along ever since before 2020, and I like that they are researching and monitoring even the wastewater levels, which is an indicator, and nice to know that we've only had a 10% increase in hospitalizations in Wisconsin, even though the country is seeing a 40%. So again, bringing this up now, August 17th, so we are ahead of the game. If you're not experiencing a surge in your circle, good, stay healthy. And if you are, putting this in perspective to stay ahead of it and stay healthy.
Yeah,
because nobody wants to. We're also getting, stop bringing up this nightmare. Believe me, I did not enjoy the past 2.5 to 3 years of intense cleaning and showering and laundry and staying away from people and Zooms. Let's not get back there. Let's learn something and be smart and also be compassionate and take care of each other.
Now, a couple of texters, and I know we got to get to break here, but a couple of texters said, you're not bringing on medical professionals who disagree. You want to bring that on the show? Bring it on the show. Now, I will fact check them at some point. I'll try to do it live, but it's often difficult. I know there's medical professionals. Not everybody's on the same page. There's various studies and reports, but one of the things I did, and I want to do this on purpose, I asked Dr. Mary Beth Graham about ivermectin. Mm-hmm. Because there are elected officials, including our senior senator from Wisconsin, who continue to put this out there as would have been a lifesaver, saving thousands of lives. There's no evidence, no data, no studies that it does anything. So that's why I asked her the question. So careful with the internet theories and your uncle from Germany who went through the pandemic and is now an expert on it. Careful with that stuff. The reason we bring subject matter experts on it is because they work in this field every day. They don't pay attention to it when it's on talk radio or, the topic of the week or a trending topic. They do it every day, and they understand the dynamics and the data and the research. That's why we do it. We'll take a quick break. Your comments welcome. The Old National Bank talk and text line 855-616-1620. We'll stay on it for a bit. Join us on WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Heiser Summer Tee-Up and Wind Event is happening now. Cool off in our showrooms and try your luck on our putting greens. Everyone is welcome, it's fun, and there's no purchase necessary. Win golf passes to 30-plus local golf courses, special Heiser discounts, and much, much more. Visit Heiser.com and stop by one of our locations by August 31st. At Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details. Sponsored with Executive Greens LLCS GolfWisconsin.com. It's August 31st, 2023.
It's not a gimmick. It's simply comprehensive, fee-only financial planning to get all your arrows pointed in the right direction. And although rate of return is important, there are many factors that are equally, if not more important. There's a strong belief among financial experts that tax planning is more important than rate of return. And at Financial Strategies, we strongly believe that is what sets us apart. As a result of our strategies, our clients have saved significantly on their taxes. They were prepared to pay the taxes and elated when we shared how they could avoid them. We want to grow your investment and protect it, and we've proven to be very good at doing just that. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., and we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial Strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment and Abbey Windows. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. WTMJ Now.
Yes, we're having the COVID conversation because we've seen a slight uptick in Wisconsin. Not that big, 10%, as Dr. John Raymond said. Other places, I think you used the number 40%.
10% hospitalizations in Wisconsin, 40% increase in COVID-related hospitalizations in the country in the past month.
Interesting, we were having that conversation with Dr. Mary Beth Graham, I got a thing from my doctor saying, schedule your annual physical. Were they listening?
Stay healthy.
Yes. I get, I'm somebody that also advocates, and I've done this for like 38 straight years, annual physical every year. Otherwise, what are you doing? Like, don't you want to know if you're healthy? If you need to change something in your diet, or if you're someone who takes a lot of medications, if they're relevant anymore? I'm always wary of people that get health insurance, have health insurance, and just ignore it. Like, it's just something I have. I never use it. I never go to the doctor. I'm suspicious of that. But here's the great thing. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want. How about that?
Yes.
Lots of conversation from the 262. Again, we read the critical ones, not just the ones that praise. We got to listen to Scaffidi's hatred, I would argue with that term, for anyone who made the choice not to be vaccinated. I've said all along, you can choose what you want. I chose vaccination. You can decide. Now, it's a different argument to say, do I think vaccines work? Sign me up, raise my hand, absolutely. And I think time and the health of our world and our population and our country validates that. We've seen the elimination of many, many diseases. We are working on eliminating things like malaria, which is starting to come back because, again, less people being vaccinated. And the one thing I said in the first few months of the pandemic came true. The pushback, political or otherwise, against this specific vaccine for COVID led, I was exactly right on this, to a pushback against other vaccines. And now we see actions by some state legislatures that want to remove all vaccine requirements. All. Think about that for a second. How dangerous is that? It's not a good thing. I want to squeeze Mary in from Mequon real quick. Hi, Mary. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I enjoyed your interview with both doctors, the first one and the tape of the other one. I just had one comment, quick question. I agreed with her. I'm fully vaccinated. I will take every care in the world. However, I'm on my way to the airport. She made a comment that I just wanted to take I don't know what word I want, umbrance with. She mentioned that she got COVID on an airplane. Now, unless she was flying in a circle over the city of Milwaukee, chances are she was with people she was not normally with, vacationing at a conference with family she's not normally with, something, airports, hotels. How could she be sure she got it on the airplane?
That's a fair question. We can't ask her. She's not with us anymore. Yeah, I get the question. It's a fair point. But here's my response. She's making an assessment based on her experience and her knowledge that that's where she got it. I could have asked her, are you 100% sure? And she probably would have said no, but I don't want to speak for her. But that would be my answer. Thanks for the call, Mary. It's a fair question, though, because she's assigning her getting COVID to that trip. Now,
and safe travels to Mary as she's about to board an airplane.
Good luck on your flight. And it's something that I have an international trip coming up to Italy in 3 weeks. I can tell you my wife, as someone who's immunocompromised, she'll be wearing a mask. And depending on who's yakking up or coughing around me, I may wear one as well. Because I've been on plane flights internationally at least 4 times in the last 3 years. There's a lot of people who shouldn't be flying that are flying.
And if you need an extra elastic band that elongates your mask and makes it more comfortable, you know how it is. Oh, I got a couple of those. What am I going to use that elastic band for now? Some of those leftovers from 2020 and 2021.
Lots of people are. The text line has been very busy today. Chris from Hartford informs me that so many people are so self-centered and unkind to others that need the protection. I've said this again from day one of the pandemic. And I had to listen to people lecture other people in stores, grocery stores. I told a story at a Meijer pharmacy one time where this individual comes in. This poor woman just wanted to get her prescription. And the guy behind her was mad because Meijer at the time required a face mask. Mm-hmm. And he was just doing the public park presentation, right? Yes. Telling everyone in the world how upset he was about that, how his uncle from some other country said this is all a hoax and, why are we doing this? And this poor woman had to take it, and I said it after the fact.
Had to listen to his monologue?
I should have stepped in because it was ridiculous. And probably today I would step in.
Well, I was just going to say, but certainly back in 2020 and 2021, people were getting punched in the face if you interjected and said,
I'll take my chances.
Please don't say that.
Because I felt bad that I didn't say anything and that this young woman had to take all this from this idiot. And look, I went to Las Vegas and wore a mask and had shielding around me at a blackjack table. Did I like it? Hell no. but I wasn't going to give up my life. So you suck it up and you do what they ask. Is it uncomfortable? Sure. Some people might argue it's unnecessary. I don't agree with those people, but I get the arguments. Part of this is kindness. Part of this is compassion. And I'll go back to what I said before. If your first reaction is to be angry about this, people are angry that we're having a conversation about COVID. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. Even though we had two people who are subject matter experts, there's been texts that have been dismissive, saying they're outright wrong, they're outright liars. Really? I don't think so.
Yeah, the word fear-mongering keeps coming up, and I feel like we've been talking about this in a sedate, rational, just informational
I hope so.
way. Not trying to persuade you one way or another, just talking to two doctors who can give us perspective on if this really is a surge or a surge to be concerned about. And again, the reminder of we can all do a little better to take care of our health. I'm out of the habit of wiping down everything, even though it's more aerosol. I get it. But just there are things you can do to go, need to make sure I'm washing my hands all the time.
It's one of many things we should be thinking about. And as we go back to school, and we'll have a lot of conversations about back to school in a lot of different ways. We had a cybersecurity expert on yesterday talking about the risks of smartphones and kids as they go back to school, cyberbullying, connecting with strangers they don't know. Those are the realities of life. And we want to make sure that parents understand the risks, make their own decisions, of course. It's a free country. But at least have the information
to make that decision.
Right. That's all it is. You can join the
best decision for yourself and for your family.
Absolutely. She's Sandy. I'm Steve. You're listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
R&R Insurance does an exceptional job providing employee benefits to all of us here at Good Karma Brands. And about this time of year, companies start planning for fall enrollment. Here's Jeff Salazinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Hi, Vince. For business owners, knowing how best to communicate your benefits will help employees understand their options, guide their decision-making, and increase their sense of value and engagement. With the right communication, employees will be more inclined to participate and see it as an integral part of their total compensation program. A benefit understood is a benefit appreciated.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
At R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit packages in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion. And communication about benefits goes well beyond open enrollment. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefit information for themselves and their families. At R&R Insurance, we know employee benefits.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Thrifters can spot great deals from a mile away. And here the term great deal is an understatement. The lowest prices on men's, women's, and children's clothing, toys, furniture, housewares, jewelry, and accessories, bikes, books, games, and more. And every time you're here, you'll find something new. So if you're thrifty, you'll find this place is pretty nifty. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores, Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Now is your chance at huge savings on all your favorites during Fleet Farm's Balloon Pop event. This Saturday at participating locations, the first 300 shoppers will receive a ticket to shop and pop to get anywhere from 10 to 100% off their entire purchase. Fill your cart and pop a balloon at checkout to reveal your savings. Don't miss out. Doors open at 7 a.m. this Saturday. We have what you need for your everyday life. Fleet Farm.
Annex Wealth Management, investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forgive commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
This is going to be interesting, so pay attention.
Mountains and trees. Ducks and hunting dogs. Dinosaur bones. Meteorites. Steel that's carved like the leather stirrups on a Western saddle. Damascus steel, like they make swords out of. Carbon fiber. Hardwood.
Manly things.
Hardwood. You already said that. I know. I just like the sound of it. Hardwood. It does have a nice ring to it.
Ring? I see what you did there.
I'm sorry, I got us off track.
Kessler's has wedding bands for men.
Real men.
Made of manly things.
He wants you to wear a big, beautiful diamond so that everyone you meet will know how much he loves you.
Why not insist that he wear something equally cool?
You'll tell your grandkids about the day you went shopping for this wedding band at Kessler's when they ask,
"Where did you get such a cool ring? And what is it made of?"
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Oh, little Braveheart. It's my go-to little clip when people want to talk about freedom and all of that. I get it. Trust me. I'm a small government guy. But keep in mind, when you're talking about the pandemic, a lot of people go, we knew this. You didn't know anything. All we knew is people were dying in nursing homes, especially in Western United States. That's where really we started to learn about it here. Other countries, Italy, for example, one of my origin countries,
when you're
right?
paisans.
Yeah. We didn't know what we know now. So careful with that Monday morning quarterbacking. You had no idea. That's why people were wiping down their groceries. That's why people were doing all of those things.
In March and
know.
April of 2020.
Yeah.
And as soon as we knew that it was aerosol and that wasn't necessary, lots of us were very glad we didn't have to wipe down our groceries.
Jim from Waukesha joins us. Got to make your point quick, Jim, because we're getting close to the news time here. Welcome.
Yeah, when Fauci threw the first pitch out in abbreviated season, he wore a mask, no fans, nobody there except the players. But then he went to a dinner after and wasn't wearing his mask. These politicians and the people that know, they have to wear masks. Same with Newsom. He got caught so many times without a mask. And if they're going to preach one thing, then they got to do it themselves.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Jim, and thanks for taking the time to
Leadership by example.
Yeah, if you're going to say it, then you got to do it. And in many cases, and he pointed out a couple there, that's disingenuous. That's not living what you're telling people to do. And we saw even Boris Johnson in the UK having parties with no masks on, even though he's advising everyone to wear a mask. And in the UK, they were hit hard by the pandemic.
And that happens even at work. And like, don't tell me what to do if you're not going to do it yourself. That's
Sure.
a universal on every level.
Yeah. I love the hour, and you guys were great. Thanks for the great input. Thanks to Dr. Mary Beth Graham and Dr. Tim Raymond. John Raymond. If
you want to catch up on that will be podcasted at WTMJ.com and wherever you get your podcasts. And also the earlier conversation, including ABC's Brad Garrett talking about
also great.
The Wisconsin connections to the Georgia indictment.
All right, we're going to have some fun after the top of the hour news here, which we've got to get to a little bit early here. So that's what We Said's coming up. Chance to win a $30 gift card from the Mind Chef restaurant. And on Thursdays, by the way, buy one pizza, get one free, and that goes for 10, 20, 20. You've heard the John McCure commercial. I need callers, 855-616-1620, for a chance to win a $30 gift card. That's what we said after the news, which is next to WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we talk about pending tax legislation and some of the hottest tax savings opportunities for retirees.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
Hey, it's 620 WTMJ's Brian D. from my guy, Dr. James Michaels and Oconomowoc Dental Care. Well, it doesn't feel like it, but back to school is right around the corner. The time to go to the dentist is not in September, it's right now. Get those teeth for yourself, your kids, your family, all tuned up and ready to rock for the school year with my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. Whether it's a simple cleaning and exam, a more complex dental procedure, a teeth whitening, an implant, Dr. Michaels and the team at Oconomowoc Dental Care will always make you as comfortable as possible while you're in the chair and give both you and your family an amazing smile. At Oconomowoc Dental Care, affordable quality dentistry is no longer a dream, it is the reality. Dr. Michaels' fantastic staff can help you out with a no-interest payment plan. We all have to go to the dentist, so don't put it off any longer. Get it done before the end of the summer. Go see my guy, Dr. James Michaels at Oconomowoc Dental Care. Call his friendly and caring staff today and make an appointment with my guy, Dr. Michaels.
Now's a great time to get signed up for your exterior work, like siding and windows. Why put it off? The lines are shorter, and we'll be ready to take on your next project.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Know any good jokes?
Sure. Knock, knock.
Who's there? Hello?
That's it.
That's the joke?
Get it? We don't have employees at Hasselus Mattress, so nobody's here to answer the door. The doors lock and unlock on a timer.
No employees?
Try and buy with no pushy sales guy.
Are you joking?
Shop Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, Serta Perfect Sleeper, and more for way less.
How way less?
Our 43 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Next day delivery, too.
You better not be pulling my leg.
And through Monday, you'll also get a $200 MasterCard Rewards gift card.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Sorry, not home. I'm at Hasselus Mattress.
Get an additional $200 in rewards cash on your new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper, now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hasselus.com.
Leap and a net will appear. I love that statement.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
What it means to me is just do something. And whatever you do, as long as you keep working at it, it will come through. It may not exactly turn out the way you dreamt it, but God has a plan for you. When Ben and I packed up at 19 years old and 21 years old to come to Milwaukee and open our furniture store, I don't think there was anybody that told us it was a good idea. Again, we leaped and kept working, and the net appeared, and it's all been good.
PennyMustard.com.
Demi Loziga here. I've been wanting to shade in my backyard for years, and now that dream is coming true thanks to my friends at Comfort Awnings, located in Burlington. It's a local family-owned company that provides expert installation servicing southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. They came out to my house and walked me through the whole process, from different colors and fabrics, custom fit to my home's exterior and backyard. Right now, you can receive $200 off awnings and screens until the end of August. Call 414-AWNINGS for a free estimate or visit comfortawnings.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Something's cooking at Dodger Stadium. And it's not the fans in the LA Sun.
Hammered to left. Oh my goodness, what a shot. Carlos Santana up into the night and almost over all the bleachers at Dodger Stadium for a home run.
The Brewers and the Dodgers play tonight with coverage starting at 8:35 on News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 11:01, it is 74 degrees, a high of 78 today, becoming sunny. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. A quick reminder, we have a air quality advisory in place through the weekend due to the wildfires. However, the wildfire smoke would not be as concentrated as we've seen in the past. That's the expectation. COVID cases going up again across the area as we get closer to the school time and the end of the summer. But Dr. Mary Beth Graham with the Medical College of Wisconsin says there's no reason to panic.
Is coronavirus still here? The answer is yes. Are we still seeing the same number of cases that we saw previously in 2000, 2001? The answer is no. Are we seeing the same number of hospitalizations? The answer is no. But is the virus gone? The answer is no.
Graham tells WTMJ Now that much like the flu, COVID will return in waves from time to time. 2 local mothers have a grand plan for a housing project serving people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
They want to live independently. They're just like me and you.
Amy Hansel and Emily Peters both have children with disabilities, and they're both concerned about the housing crisis in that community.
Wisconsin alone, we have 60% of people with IDD that are living with their family. What happens when those elderly parents pass on?
Their nonprofit aims to build and support a community-based living project in southern Milwaukee County. They need volunteers, they need funding.
And I would say most importantly, we need prayer.
Communities of Crocus hopes to secure property this year. Vince Vetrano, WTMJ News.
If you'd like to learn more about the project, you can text the word housing to the Old National Bank Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 housing, and then we will send you back a link. A scare for those on a Southwest flight from Houston to Cancun this week. Videos taken by passengers show that one of the engines caught fire shortly after takeoff.
With one engine down, they were forced to turn around, making an emergency landing at Houston's Hobby Airport Tuesday night.
307, you're clear for the ILS runway 4 approach. 307, you still have one engine shut down, is that correct? We have the ready to shut down.
Firefighters standing by as the plane landed safely. The airline saying the jet experienced a mechanical issue shortly after takeoff and was taken out of service for review. The FAA saying they will investigate.
ABC's Victor Oquendo, no one was hurt. The Brewers are optimistic injured outfielder Garrett Mitchell could still be able to play before the end of the year. Brewers senior VP and general manager Matt Arnold tells Wisconsin's Morning News, yep, they're feeling good about it.
He could be trending in the right direction here and potentially available here in late September. So not sure if that's going to be fully go at this point. Again, he's got a long way to go. He's overcome a lot, but I know he's working really hard and also feeling really good.
Mitchell injured his shoulder in mid-April, was thought to be out for the year. Time now for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, everything in the red. The Dow down 48 to 34,717. The NASDAQ down 46 to 13,428, and the S&P down 3 to 4,400. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit NXWealth.com and click the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, weather next, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or back? Well, don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people here in Milwaukee every day with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. And there's zero downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough, and patients here are getting real lasting relief and saying no to surgery and drugs. If you have pain due to injury or arthritis, this is a remarkable option that you need to check out, and the consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics now at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Are you to become a victim?
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Clayton Kershaw tossed 5 strong innings, and Mookie Betts scored 4 times as the Dodgers go on to beat the Milwaukee Brewers by a final of 7-1 on Wednesday night. With the loss and a Chicago and Cincinnati win, the Brewers losing a game in the race for the top spot in the National League Central, now leading by only 2.5 games. Milwaukee will look to avoid the sweep tonight with a first pitch of 9:10 in Los Angeles. From the diamond to the NFL, as the Green Bay Packers welcomed in the New England Patriots to begin a pair of joint practices in Titletown on Wednesday afternoon. Packers-Patriots will hit the practice field again later today before their Week 2 preseason matchup on Saturday night. Lastly, to women's soccer in the wake of the U.S. team's elimination by Sweden in the round of 16 at the 2023 Women's World Cup, Vlatko Adovansky has stepped down as manager of the U.S. women's national team. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving time saver traffic. 94 eastbound still slow going as you head from Highway 16 into the Zoo interchange. You got some road work taking place there, so you're losing the right lane, and because of that, bottlenecking into 2, and you got the barrels up, and it's just a slow ride. So right now from Highway 16 to the Zoo is nearly a 20-minute trip, so you're looking at delays there. Once you're through it, you're good, though. The Zoo into downtown is fine all the way in there. 4145 southbound, no problem from Highway Q to the Zoo. That's looking good. 43 and getting into the Hale interchange, heading on your way up to 894 there. The Hale interchange, very slow going if you're heading north in that stretch, so be prepared for that. 43 north of the Marquette interchange, so far so good for the most part. You're going to see some slowdowns from the road work, but for the most part, you're A-OK north of the Marquette.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com, because today's your day.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. for today. The rain is gone. We had the rain earlier today, so now we're just dealing with the sun, which is great, and the air quality advisory, which is in place through the weekend. So sunny today, windy, a high of 78. Tonight, clear, cool, and breezy, a low of 58. Friday, sunny, a high of 78. Saturday, warm, a high of 85. Sunday, even warmer, a high of 90. Monday, sunny, and a high of 87 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it is 74. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:09.
They say it's all about the he said, she said. But we know right now it's time for That's What We Said. Sponsored by the Mine Shaft Hartford in Oshkosh on WTMJ Now. Here they are, Sandy Maxx and Steve Scaffidi.
Oh, it's exciting. Sandy waving to the folks watching on the stream. I'll wave too. How about that? I'll give them my parade wave.
And the people walking by 3rd Street Market Hall. Just a friendly gal.
Getting some noodles or some pizza or some sushi or
mac and cheese.
Yeah, that sounds good, actually. I got to get out of this granola bar thing because it's just killing me.
It's not the best energizing breakfast for you.
It's boring. and obviously I'm trying to lose a little weight before my Tuscany trip.
So you can feast on pasta?
Yeah, and I have lost weight, so thanks for someone for noticing that, by the way. Appreciate you. So that's part of it. But set all that aside, because we're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about pizza, because Mineshaft is the sponsor of this little game we call That's What We Said. Mm-hmm. And joining us on the phone line, let's meet Claire from Economowalk. Hi, Claire.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
So tell me about Claire. What do I need to know about Claire from Economowalk? What would our listeners like to know about you?
Well, I enjoy gardening and camping. I've got 2 kids, and I love my dogs.
I love that. I'm especially on the gardening thing. Camping, I could take it or leave it, but the gardening thing, as you know, I love. All right, let's meet your opponents. But that's what we said. My namesake, Steve from Hartford. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve and Sandy. How are you?
We are great on this Thursday. Thanks for taking the time to call in. You got a chance to win a $30 Mineshaft gift card for the beautiful downtown Hartford location. Also got a place on just off the interstate in beautiful Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So, Steve, you heard Claire's quick bio. What's your information? What's your details?
Okay, well, I work part-time and I play golf full-time. So
for a living?
No. I wish.
I'm envious. Whenever I do retire, I'm going to be. I just told my wife Kathy this, and she goes enthusiastically, "Yes, I'm going to golf at least 4 to 5 times a week."
That's what I do right now.
Oh, I am jealous of that. And what's your favorite course?
Yeah, Erin Hills.
Not a bad course to have as a favorite. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so here's the rules, Claire and Steve. Claire from Economowalk, Steve from Hartford. We're gonna read you 5 questions. Each question has 3 possible answers, and whoever gets the most right gets a $30 Mineshaft gift card. And our congratulations. Only 2 people in the history of this game have ever gotten all 5 right. That's a rarity. And I would say they're not as difficult today. I was reviewing them. I'll read some of them. I'll read the first one. I think Sandy's got a few in here. Keep in mind I was off for a couple of days, so you're going to hear Sandy and Brian Noonan and me in the course of the next 5 questions. Claire, you're first up, so listen carefully. Question number 1. Brian Noonan joined my co-host Sandy for a couple of shows this week while I took some well-earned time off. That's my opinion. What did Sandy tell Brian she woke up early for on Sunday morning? Was it A, I got up really early and road tripped all the way to a park so we could watch the Perseid meteor showers? B, I decided I was going to get in the car early and drive to my mom's house in Illinois. Or C, I woke up because I heard the northern lights were going to be visible. Unfortunately, they weren't. What's the right answer, Claire?
I'm going to go with A.
Claire says A. What does Steve from Hartford say?
I'm going to copy Claire and say A because this is the time for the Perseids.
Yes. Maybe I was too easy on that one. Brilliance from our players, Claire and Steve. Here's what was actually said.
But I actually woke up yesterday morning at 2 o'clock to get to my best friend's house at 2:45.
Well, you woke up in the morning or in the afternoon?
In the morning, on a Sunday morning.
That's too much. Okay.
So I napped, got up really early, and we road tripped all the way to Nagawicki Park so we could watch the Perseid meteor shower with another college.
There you go. You both got it right.
Congratulations.
I love that.
It was fun. So Brian Noonan from WTMJ Nights was nice enough to come in to fill in while Steve was out. And we also talked about streaming services. So what did I say is the one streaming service that I have? Is it A, Disney Plus? I absolutely love all the Disney movies and I watch them over and over. Or B, I really could not imagine life without Netflix. So there's the one. Or is it C, the one streaming thing that I do have is PBS Passport, $5 a month as a member. Steve, we'll have you go first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say C, PBS Passport.
Claire?
C as well.
Ooh, we got some smart ones on the line
Very
today.
smart.
Here's what she said.
But I'm finding that I certainly am getting other things done. Like
Okay.
I'm not just letting the TV go on. And the one streaming thing that I do have is PBS Passport.
Wow. Well, sure, you have an in with PBS.
Well,
I'm sure there's a little
$5 a month
little
as a member.
Okay,
you
there
get that. But it's been kind of liberating. Not watching as much TV. So congratulations, you both got it right.
All right, so two
Support
for
your
two.
local PBS station.
Producer Charlie, you better be thinking about a tiebreaker here because we got some smart callers. All right, this one's also for you, Sandy.
One more for Brian Noonan of WTMJ Nights. He talked about one of his favorite cities this week on WTMJ Now. What city did he mention? A, Chicago. He says he loves the city for all the reasons most Wisconsinites don't like it. B, Nashville. Who doesn't love good barbecue and country music? Or C, New Orleans. Whoever you are, you can fit in New Orleans. That's what I like.
What is the right answer, Claire?
I'm going to go with B.
B as in Bob. Okay, and then Steve, what's the right answer in your opinion?
C, New Orleans. Brian's been a participant in a lot of parades down there, from my recollection.
Steve ain't messing around today. Here's what he said.
There's something about that city, and I always tell people,
That
I think
sounds
what
like
it
the
is for
Brian
me
Noonan
is,
listener trip right there.
It should be. Because whoever you are, you can fit in New Orleans. That's what I like.
I'll agree with him. I've been there many times. It's a fun city, and they are very accepting of all kinds of people. And if you're not having a fun time in New Orleans, you're doing it wrong. And the restaurants are amazing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's our standings after 3 questions. Steve has got them all right, so he's got 3 up. Claire, still in the ball game at 2. Steve goes first. Question number 4. Not surprising, politics and the conduct of elected officials come up almost every day on the show. What did I say about politics and how most electeds and the people who vote for them talk about that subject? Was it A, politicians say a lot of things, the actual amount of credible, interesting, factual points is minimal, it's just nonsense? Or B, unfortunately, the discourse has not only gotten less civil, it's also devoid of real information or facts? Or C, we may be past the point where most people even care about facts anymore. As long as their party says it, they're all in. Steve, what's the right answer? Question number 4.
I'm going to go with C on this one, Steve.
Okay, Steve says C. Claire, what do you say?
I was going to say C as well.
All right. Let's hear what I said. Politicians say a lot of things. Some of the stupidity related to all of these indictments is people are just falling into their camps. And the actual amount of credible, interesting, factual points that they're making is minimal. It's just nonsense. And we keep perpetuating this. That's why I try not to do that. All right, so neither one of you got it right. So we're still going to question number 5, which Sandy's going to read. Steve has 3. Claire has 2. Claire, you could catch up if Steve gets it wrong. Question number 5 could decide. What is it, Sandy?
On this week's edition of Ask Us Anything, a caller asked how Steve's broadcasting career started. What is the story behind his WTMJ radio career? Is it A, he answered an internet ad for a show host after Charlie Sykes retired? Surprise, surprise, they hired him. B, a phone call from Eric Bilstad launched him into something that he'd gone to school for but never really utilized in a specific sense. Late February 2017, the Scaffidi and Bilstad show began. Or C, luck, really, they wanted to hire Mayor Tom Barrett. He said no, and they asked a different mayor. True story.
All right. Claire, what is the right answer to question number 5?
I'm going to go with B.
Claire says B. Steve, what say you?
B as well.
All right.
B as in Bilstad instead of Barrett.
Yes, let's hear the right answer. A phone call from Eric Bilstead launched me into something I had gone to school for, but I never really utilized in a specific sense. And in late February 2017, started the Scaffidi and Bilstead show. That lasted for about 6 months, and then I got my own show. There you go. That's the history. That means that Steve from Hartford is our winner with 4 right answers. Claire, thanks for playing. That's what we said.
Yeah.
We love you out there.
Good job, it was a joy. Have a great day.
All right, Steve from Hartford, how are you feeling?
Awesome.
All right. You are going to be, we're going to have you talk to Chris.
Golf later, so.
Hey, me too. About 5 o'clock, I'll be out at Muskego Lake, so enjoying the nice weather. So
absolutely
hit him straight for you, and I'll also try to hit him straight. Hang on the line. Producer Charlie will get all your important information. Thanks for playing. That's what Steve said. We'll take a break here. Lots more to get to in our remaining 45 minutes or so. Sandy and Steve, you're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Everything you need to know on your way home.
Former Governor Tommy Thompson.
You run as a Republican, you run as a Democrat. But once you win, join the W Party. Join the winning party.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John McCure.
I'm joined by Wisconsin U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly.
And Greg Metzik.
Take the smoke away a little bit, kind of makes it not as smoky as the original, but the smoke flavor profile is definitely still there.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Advent, I've told you about the snoring issues, the tossing and turning. Nobody wants to sleep like that, and I no longer do. All that poor sleep, I did something about it. I went to one of their great facilities. My nose wasn't working properly. In a quick 30-minute visit, they put me at ease, and they figured it out. We also did a simple study for sleeping at home in my own bed. They found out my problem, sinuses, nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in one of their great offices, I'm back to breathing well. My wife and I, Kathy and I, sleeping through the whole night, which is amazing, trust me. If you struggle with restless nights like I do, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today. I did, and my life was changed, and certainly my sleep habits changed significantly. That could be your story as well. Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
It's WTMJ Now.
Thanks to the folks who called in and played That's What We Said. Thanks to the Mind Chef Restaurant for being our sponsor for that. They are awesome. Their beautiful downtown Hartford location, and also located on Highway 41, just off the interstate in Oshkosh. And on Thursdays, they always want me to mention this, and this is an amazing thing. Every pizza you buy, you get one free. 1 for 1, 10 for 10, 50 for 50 if you could possibly eat 50 pizzas. And the pizza, by the way, is amazing. So thanks to the folks at the Mind Chef for doing all that for us. And congrats to our players. We do that every Thursday right around 11:08. All right. So you and I often have themes and things that we kind of weave into our conversations, and they're often big picture things. But one of the realities, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday with one of our subject matter experts, Eric Drager, was the return to school. Mm-hmm. And we know that some kids are already in school, some of the early MPS kids.
Early start, yep.
Yeah. Yep. And school districts around the state and around the country, because I know we have listeners all over the place. That's the reality in the fall. So I don't want to over-focus on negatives, but I think it's important that as parents send their kids off to school, whether that's dropping them off, whether that's the school bus situation, they walk to school, whatever the reality is for you. There's always that bit of concern. My my oldest grandson had his first day of second grade today, and he's got a big smile on his face. And I want that smile to continue.
Those photos are going to flood your social media newsfeed. Those are the ones that make you smile.
Particularly Facebook. Facebook is a repository for first day of school pictures. So as you said, we'll be flooded with those. My question for parents, though, and it can be on any of these topics. I know bullying is a big one, especially cyberbullying, the advent of the smartphone, which sometimes is not so smart. It can be a detriment to learning, and certainly a detriment.
A distraction, for sure.
And a detriment to one's mental health sometimes, and a risk for, I just read a study last night about young girls. It's not a great time when you have those two things, adolescence, young woman, and then the reality of cyberbullying and everything that can happen to a young woman or a young man online. It's a risk. Not necessarily focusing on that. My question for all of you on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. What are you thinking about as a parent as the kids go back to school? This is more informational for me. My girls are growing up. My grandkids are now going to school. And as I said, where they live, they're already starting. In Wisconsin, that process is just beginning. And it will go after Labor Day. Basically, all the kids will be back in school, or for the most part. What are you thinking about? Is it, I'm just happy the kids are out of the house. It could be that. That's a positive, I guess. Or is it, my kid didn't have a great experience last year. And I'm hoping that this year will be better for him. I'm hoping that his new teacher will bring something out of him or her and make him a better kid or eventually a better adult. What is it? 855-616-1620. I look back to my days in school. I was in a hurry to get out of high school. And I graduated early for the most part after my first semester of my senior year and worked full time.
Interesting.
And I moved out shortly after because I went to UWM and I wanted to work full time, and I did both.
Look at you, overachiever.
Well, I wanted to get on with life. I wanted to be an adult. And in some of that time, I was only 17 and a half, so there's issues with that. But I wanted to get it over with. Now, you talk to other people who are in high school, and I don't want to just limit to high school. They loved every bit of it. Like all the dances and homecoming prom, assemblies, football games, all that stuff.
It's a very social time.
Yeah. So that's something that you could say, well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm just curious what you're thinking about as a parent. And we can certainly mix in the dynamic. We talked about it earlier with Dr. Mary Beth Graham. We heard from Dr. John Raymond as well on some of the concerns about diseases and or viruses that can be spread.
Health in general.
Yeah. What are you guys thinking about? 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank Talk and Text line.
Or artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
That is infiltrating every way of learning, whether it's writing papers or actually teaching the class.
That's a good one, because I also want to hear from teachers. What are you thinking about? That AI thing when it comes to people writing papers for classes, taking tests, all kinds of things that can happen if you're doing it outside the school environment, like outside the classroom environment. Kids, kids cheat. Adults cheat sometimes too.
Or not so much cheat, also look for shortcuts.
Yeah, using technology in many cases. And, you know my thoughts about smartphones. I don't think they should be in classrooms, whether that's a stored system at a school or not bring them to school. I've talked to so many parents who say you're completely wrong on this. My kid needs to have that phone. I want the ability as a parent to be able to reach out to that child or those children anytime I want to. I'm not a fan of that idea, and I think it doesn't serve.
That's also distracting.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it serves the interest of the kids as far as their education. But I'll think it's not great for the teacher who has to deal with that reality.
Because if you're concerned where they are, that's where, if you have an Apple phone, that's where is my phone. You could at least see, oh, okay, my child is at the school where they should be, not over at the McDonald's across the street cutting class or
tracking that kid.
Yeah, like for the most part, let them have that learning time and social time to themselves, and then they'll catch up with you immediately after school.
Yeah, and I don't want to overplay the technology piece because, when I was in school, to be honest, painful admission, we didn't have much technology. Your parents sent you on your way. You walked usually. In my case, I walked. I wasn't a bus student. When I lived in Cudahy, it was a pretty long walk, almost a mile. And when I lived in Oak Creek, it was less than a block. So, I had both realities, but I walked. And I didn't have a phone. And I saw my parents in the morning, usually my mom because my dad was working. And then I saw them when I got home after sports or whatever in the afternoon. But I know that reality's changed. There's texting that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So we can open this up for however you want to take this conversation. It could be a positive, could be a negative. I want to know what's on your radar as a parent or a teacher when it comes to the upcoming school year. We're going to talk a lot about school issues, education as we go through the fall, but I want to get your sense of where these stories are going. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. You're listening to, of course, WTMJ Now.
Sandy and Steve will be back after this.
Come on, homie, we major. We major?
No, he's Major. Major Garrett, that is.
Russia and its calculus behind what it thought it would achieve in Ukraine has almost, if not totally, unraveled.
CBS News' chief Washington correspondent joins Wisconsin's Afternoon News every Tuesday at 3:45.
Now he's going to have to face this indictment and go through a criminal judicial process. It's a heavy day for the entire country.
Right here on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Window Siding and Bath. The best in the business is Sidex. Free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ or John Mercure. They're doing our project. Old tub shower is out. New, beautiful, state-of-the-art walk-in shower is going in as we speak. Seasoned design consultants with 30 years of experience, family-owned since 1988. As a matter of fact, Joe is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmen. It's Sidex, the best in the business. It's Sidex.
Lake Geneva. It's where families have been making memories around the water for generations. Lakeside resorts and spas, award-winning restaurants, and charming shops are just the beginning of an unforgettable summer getaway. Lake cruises, boating, and beach lounging let you soak up the sun, water, and family time. Hike a lakeshore path, stargaze from an iconic observatory, or soar above it all in a hot air balloon. Go ziplining, visit an animal safari, or see dancing horses. Start making your memories today at visitlakegeneva.com.
The deeper the hole, the more damage you're going to cause, especially if you're driving around with low tire pressure.
We're talking about potholes, and if you're not careful, they'll spring up out of nowhere and bite you right in the keister.
We've fixed broken ball joints, broken control arms, blown struts, damaged wheel alignments.
You name it, we fixed it. That wheel alignment is an adjustment of your suspension, which is the system that connects your car to its wheels.
And when your alignment's off, you get uneven, premature tire wear, and we have a fix for that too.
If a pothole has bitten you where it hurts, come to Richlands for a professional evaluation by one of our ASE certified technicians.
And at the very least, we'll make sure you have the right amount of air pressure in your tires.
And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
Due for Service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
WTMJ Now.
School year's coming, folks, and the kids. Some kids are excited. I said my grandsons are excited about it, and some aren't. I'm trying to remember back, and to the texter who said, "Why is this always about you?" Storytelling is part of radio, and one of the ways that I try to connect with the audience is to relate stories about me, or maybe Sandy can do the same. That make the point that, you know, in this case, going back to school was something I looked forward to. But I also, as I said before, I looked forward to being done. I wanted to be an adult, and I did everything I can to make that happen, including studying hard. I wasn't a 4.0 student, but I was a smart kid, and I didn't have to work hard to get good grades, which is, you know, maybe it's genetics, whatever it is. But I was lucky enough to get done early and essentially worked full time most of the second semester of my senior year. So, but that's my reality.
Well, and also, we were just joking about the emergence of artificial intelligence, and you're going to see in the next 6 months to a year to beyond that there's going to be a real push for all human, and making a note of, hey, this was human created. So Steve and I are humans. We have
right.
We have experiences, and I think that those experiences sometimes resonate with our fans, or if you're listening, and then sometimes you can go, wait a minute, that has never happened to me. This is my reality. So it's sharing those stories. Otherwise, you could have us just reading lists of, here's our question today. What are you concerned about? And if we don't share a little bit of our experience, then anybody can just read at you. That's not the goal of WTMJ Now.
Or in the case of Milwaukee Talk Radio, yell at you for 3 hours. All right, so
not going to do that.
From the 414, I was not one of those students that participated in anything in school and realized how much I missed out on. I encourage my children to participate in as much as possible. They also seem much more social and excited to go to school. I hope that's everybody's reality. I want kids to enjoy school because I think even from a work perspective, if you like your job or like your workplace, I bet your work product's better. You're more efficient. You're more productive. I want the same thing for students. I want them to like their teachers. I want them to like their classmates. If they're a sports or an activity person, whether that's choir or forensics, sports, whatever it is, I want you to be enthusiastic about it, and I think parents should want that for their kids as well. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talking text line. I see Charlie's queuing up a call. Let's see.
It's part of getting ready for the new school year is just even adjusting schedules. This has been summertime. Kids not getting up quite as early. That's an adjustment for the whole household of, okay, we're getting up now and we're getting ready.
Let me tell you a real life story about that issue. So my wife's a teacher, and she related a story to me. This is years ago. And it was when, what is it called? Six Flags? What's the one?
Great America.
Great America now. It was
Gurney?
Six Flags earlier.
Yeah.
Gurney, yes.
I think it's Six Flags Great America. I think you can smash them all together.
And she had a student who never showed up in the morning. So she had a conversation with the mom. The mom goes, yeah, we go to Six Flags all the time. We have a season pass. And whatever the kid's name, I'll just make one up. Brad doesn't like to get up early. He just loves Six Flags, and it's just something we do. So you'll have to adjust.
So they're at Six Flags late, so it's hard to get Brad up.
Up early.
That was, okay.
That's kind of the reality of the world we live in now. That kind of, we're just going to have fun, and then school is going to be something like an afterthought. And I get how that is for some people. I would discourage that attitude.
Brad's going to have a whole lot of fun as a kid, but might be behind in grades if you're missing half of the school day.
Brad might need a high school diploma at some point.
Because I was saying, because Brad's not doing homework after school, obviously.
Yeah, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talking text line. I guess the message for this topic is, I think there's a reality that we're all facing post-pandemic, right? We talked a little bit about that earlier in the show, a lot about that earlier, that kids, for the most part, didn't enjoy being off all that time, away from their friends.
I would say, they weren't off, but
yeah, classmates,
but
teachers.
Isolated, yeah.
And I hope, because I'm not in a classroom situation or in a school situation, that the decision to kind of remove those restrictions and let kids kind of get back to normal, whatever normal is now, I think is celebrated by families. Now, there's still some uncertainties, and then we talked about some of the issues, but I think that awareness, that back to reality, I think is a good thing for the country. Will it heal some of the things that happened? Some of that social anxiety, some of those educational challenges that we saw pop up during the pandemic? I'm not sure, because catching up is hard to do, especially when you're talking some school districts over a year, which is, now you think about it, it's like, that's mind-blowing. How did that happen? How is that? It's something that we did, but we didn't know. We didn't have the expertise of post-pandemic. We only knew what we saw was happening in the world around us, and teachers and governors and elected leaders, including the former President Donald Trump and the current President Joe Biden, had to make decisions about the pandemic that tried to save lives and tried to protect people. Going back, could we revisit those things? Absolutely. Maybe next pandemic, hopefully not for 100 years or more. Maybe we learned something. That's the thing. Education is a tricky subject. Not every kid learns the same way. There's more distractions. I think I'm safe in saying this. More distractions than there have ever been. And the smartphone is certainly part of that. That didn't exist when I went to school. We didn't have that constant tethered device, which is smarter than the computers that took the Apollo missions to the moon. You think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Access to everything, including some things kids probably shouldn't see. If you have a thought, 855-616-1620. Got to take another break here. Join us in the conversation. School is going back. Kids back to school. Parents, what are you thinking about? If there's a teacher out there, love to know your perspective on some of the things we've just talked about.
What's on your radar as we get into the new school year?
Absolutely. Teachers are so important, probably more so now than ever before as we get back to, I'll say it, post-pandemic reality. Join us in the conversation. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Since 1946, Ansay & Associates has provided insurance to help secure businesses and families throughout Wisconsin. As a family-owned independent agency, customer satisfaction is our first and foremost priority. Our approach is relationship-driven and solutions-oriented to your individual needs and risk management for each customer, personal or business. As one of Wisconsin's top 10 insurance agencies and among the top 5% of agents nationwide, Ansay & Associates can provide all of your insurance needs, from business, commercial, and employee benefits to individual and family coverages. Ansay & Associates is more than insurance. Ansay & Associates is your personal and business solutions partner. Visit ansay.com today and get a free consultation with one of our strategists. Or come see us in person at any of our local offices. Ansay & Associates, securing and protecting your American dream.
It's WTMJ Now.
I wanted to, I guess I never really talked about it on the show poll, even though we discussed COVID. I made it my show poll today, and you guys have been enthusiastically voting, even though I didn't mention it. You can find it on the X, formerly Twitter. If you're not on the X or the Twitter, which is probably a good lifestyle choice, you can vote on the Old National Bank talking text line 855-616-1620. So I tried to find an interesting way to kind of approach the subject. So I know that most people it's just kind of dropped, to use the radar term again, dropped off their radar. Because for most of us, I didn't think about COVID for over a year. If I did, it was a quick thought. It's in the news again. We obviously talked about it in the 10 o'clock hour. In one word, this is the show poll now. How would you describe your feelings about the latest news that it's making a comeback? And we know it's a little muted here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Smaller numbers than we're seeing other places, which is good. Maybe that means we're paying attention or doing something right.
I would hope so.
Yeah, me too.
I would hope we'd learn something. But yeah, according to Dr. John Raymond, 10% increase in hospitalizations here in our state of Wisconsin, 40% increase around the country.
So I gave you a few choices, but I mean, you can certainly pick the word you want to associate with this kind of return to at least an awareness that COVID's still out there. And as Dr. Mary Beth Graham told us, it'll probably always be here in some form or another. So the ones I gave you were disinterested, concerned, irritated, and then I put other, and I got a bunch of comments, which I'll read. Right now, leader on the course, to use a golf term, I'll be golfing later today. Disinterested is leading at 39%. Concerned is at 34%. And irritated is at 22%. And if you want to elaborate on the text line on what each of those might mean to you or what your word would be, love to read those. Some of the comments on X, concerned and irritated from Bike Walkie. I guess that's appropriate. Some jabs at elected officials, including our senior Senator Ron Johnson.
And two people tweeted that they're unsurprised.
Yeah.
It had been, honestly, the virus had been out of my head. I've been,
I'll admit that,
enjoying circulating at Summerfest and State Fair, and I've been shaking hands and
kissing babies.
Well, not kissing babies, but those things where that act gave me anxiety.
Yeah,
about a year ago.
Yeah, and
I'll be honest.
Didn't think twice about it at the last State Fair.
Yeah, I was a little more,
which is a good thing.
Yeah, carefree and relaxed. Relaxed is what I would say.
This is one we heard during our conversation at 10 o'clock hour. You media types may long for the days of mass jab mandates and lockdowns, but we aren't going back to that madness. You misled then. Why would we expect any different now? I would argue with the premise of that, but I mean, an awareness of a risk is not, I think, misleading.
We also got another response to your Twitter poll. Goo Blue says, really doesn't bother me as long as the medical field can offer treatment as opposed to vaccines. You know, the common care you could receive prior to COVID, repurposed medicine, vitamin D IVs, etc. I think that's a valid challenge to have. And we were talking about that earlier with Dr. Mary Beth Graham, that's not the only solution. Get vaccinated or else.
No.
Because I know people felt shamed into getting a vaccine and that sort of thing. And if it's not the right choice for you, we all have unique individual bodies. But I do think it's valid to say, boy, wouldn't it just be nice? And Dr. Graham talked about Paxlovid as a medicine, that it wasn't a pleasure to take.
Told an interesting story about a reaction to it.
Leaves a terrible mental aftertaste,
yes.
But it wasn't getting something injected into you.
She also said that ivermectin is really of no use when it comes to COVID.
When it comes to this, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a medicine
pretty clear.
That's good for other things.
Yes. From the Old National Bank talking text line, Steve, concerned. I think everyone should be concerned about any kind of virus or disease. Lori, concerned, don't want to be overwhelmed, but not a fool. Look, I think an understanding of the risks is like a baseline, right? Know what it is. That's why you bring subject matter experts on. Know what your personal individual risk is. And she made it really clear it's different for everybody, right? I talked about my wife, immunocompromised. She has a different risk than I have, which is why when we have an outbreak here at work, I worry about that. That's why I tested 21 times now and documented all those tests for my bosses.
Not all in a row, for those who are wondering.
No. Sometimes
not all last night.
No, some big gaps. I mean, I think, honestly, like 9 months to a year.
Honestly, when you told me that proudly, like, I've tested 21 times, I'm like, since we found out about...
That's a lot of swabbing.
Yeah, like, okay.
I wouldn't have anything left in my nose. No, but I think it's... I guess, I said this before. I'm serious about compassion. It's how I try to do my old show and how I think we approach this show. There are divergent viewpoints on a lot of these things, and everybody understands, especially COVID, right? And it's all over the map. But I expect people to at least be willing to understand the other side. And it comes to the same thing with politics. There are places you can go where it's one-sided, left and right. I don't think that's necessarily good or helpful when you're talking about like trying to make decisions about policy, which ultimately affect us, or taxes. But there are certainly places you can go for that. I don't want to do that. So we will have people that are sometimes subject matter experts. We will allow people to call in or text who have different opinions, and we've certainly heard a lot of the COVID ones. That's a good-natured civil discourse, in this case on COVID-19 and health issues, and we'll do it on every issue. I think that's important to do. Ultimately, whether it's a reaction of concerned, irritated, upsets, whatever your one-word reaction is, there's no right answer. It's how you feel about it. And that's what we want to do here. We want to give you that ability to speak on that. From the 414, as someone who wasn't vaccinated at all, it's still hard sometimes because people do judge and assume things about you simply based on your vaccination status. And that's wrong. I have friends who aren't vaccinated. I don't attack them. They're still friends of mine. We still do stuff together. I don't agree with the decision, but it's not my decision to make. It's their decision, and they assume the risk. I will tell you, as I told you before, we've had those situations where people don't get vaccinated and with horrific results. They were in those risk groups. They made that decision. Therefore, that's not my call. All right, we got another break to take here. We'll take a break. Lots more show to get to.
We're going to tell you how to have fun this weekend.
Yes. What's on tap coming up from the one, the only Sandy Maxx on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Where are we putting that money, and why are we putting it there? At Financial Strategies, you'll get answers to those questions to understand our approach. And the answers are going to be based on what we've learned about you. We're very engaged with our clients so that what we do for them fits their particular needs. But there are other things that we do that are equally important to the investment management portion of our services. I can't express how important it is to control the things you can control. At the end of the day, most investment managers will end up yielding similar overall returns. But knowing how to manage them wisely to avoid your nest egg being eaten away by the tax man, all legally of course, well, that's what I truly believe sets us apart. This is Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., and we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
This is the year to buy the woman you love a big anniversary diamond.
What's a big anniversary diamond?
A big anniversary diamond is any diamond that's at least twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Why twice as big?
A big anniversary diamond says, I love you twice as much today as the day I married you.
People are always so happy when they see the price we can give them.
Kessler's has wonderful prices on 1 carat, carat and a half, 2 carat, and 3 carat big anniversary diamonds.
People will ask you about your big diamond everywhere you go.
So big anniversary diamonds are the hot new trend?
It began with men buying big anniversary diamonds for the women they love. But now it's gone to a whole new level.
Women are now buying big anniversary diamonds for their men.
Women are saying, two can play that game.
I like games that two can play.
Everybody likes games that two can play.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
Roofing and exterior work are really tough jobs, and at Semperfi, we're proud of our people. And when you work with great people, you deliver great results.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
R&R Insurance does an exceptional job providing employee benefits to all of us here at Good Karma Brands. And about this time of year, companies start planning for fall enrollment. Here's Jeff Salazinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Hi, Vince. For business owners, knowing how best to communicate your benefits will help employees understand their options, guide their decision-making, and increase their sense of value and engagement. With the right communication, employees will be more inclined to participate and see it as an integral part of their total compensation program. A benefit understood is a benefit appreciated.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
At R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit packages in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion. And communication about benefits goes well beyond open enrollment. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefit information for themselves and their families. At R&R Insurance, we know employee benefits.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Need some activities to do this weekend? We've got you covered. This is What's on Tap.
What is on tap for fun this weekend? It is my pleasure to tell you. What's on Tap is sponsored by Milwaukee Downtown, bid number 21. Experience downtown in every sense. Go to MilwaukeeDowntown.com. We're going to start with Irish Fest.
Ooh.
So you want to go to a real party?
Oh, yeah. 4 days of music, culture, and crack. That's the Irish phrase for fun. On Milwaukee's lakefront. March 17th isn't the only time to celebrate. We have the pride of hosting the world's biggest Irish festival with an impressive variety. Over 100 musical acts of all kinds.
Jigs of all sorts.
Yes, on 16 stages, including annual favorites Gaelic Storm, who you are hearing right now. This is from the movie Titanic, one of those epic scenes. Feast on sausage rolls, shepherd's pie and bangers, corned beef and cabbage, and a variety of delicious stuffed baked potatoes. Get your sweet fix, Guinness cheesecake, shamrock cookies.
Goodness.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yes.
Of course, you can sip on authentic Irish beers and whiskey, handmade goods to shop. You can learn Gaelic language and immerse yourself in Irish culture. So many different displays, including an Aran sweater or jumper display and genealogy booths if you want to trace your heritage.
I love everything about what you just said.
Oh, good. And then if you didn't get enough of your Wisconsin State Fair fix or you just didn't make it there, we have 2 county fairs to get in on. First, the Kenosha County Fair, now through Sunday by the Wilmot Raceway. Got so much fun. Barnyard animals and big machines with tractor and truck pulls, a combine demolition derby, the International Demolition Derby, plus power tool creativity with the chainsaw carver demonstrations.
Always good. Always good.
Friday, the Big Hat Rodeo and fireworks. Of course, fun on the rides in the Carnival Midway, plus there's a family fun zone with a petting zoo and pony rides. Cheer on your favorites at the Pleasant Valley Pig and Duck Races. All happening at the Kenosha County Fair by the Wilmot Raceway. also the Dodge County Fair. Now
One
through
fair's
Sunday.
not enough.
No. Depending on where you live, which one's closer. Dodge County through Sunday at the Dodge County Fairgrounds in Beaver Dam. And that also features a huge tractor pull, a truck pull, a horse pull, 2 demolition derbies at the grandstand. Chow down on great fair food, enjoy carnival rides, browse the livestock exhibits, and also live music performances include Night Ranger on Saturday night on the Moraine Park main stage.
Name dropper.
And then if you love polka music, Saturday, the Schwabenhof in Menominee Falls is the place to be. It's the Steve Meisner Memorial Music Festival. You're hearing a sampling of some of his music now.
We just heard one of his guys last week at the fair.
Yeah, the pavilion at the German restaurant is going to open at noon Saturday. Music, dancing, food, beverages, and fun lasting way into the evening, all to remember musician Steve Meisner in a way that he would truly be proud of. Among the many polka bands scheduled to perform on Saturday is the Steve Meisner Legacy Band, featuring musicians who played with Steve for years, including Don Hunjady, who did visit us, the Bank 59 studio at the Wisconsin State Fair, and shared a couple of his thoughts on the unfortunate and unexpected passing of Steve Meisner and also the impact on the polka scene. And Steve Meisner, a second-generation polka musician who grew up learning and playing polka with his dad, Vern Meisner. And he played all around Wisconsin and all over the world for 5 decades.
He's probably the last of that genre generation. There's certainly other polka bands and stuff out there, but he was still off. I mean, his dad's era was the dominant one. But Steve is, if you ask somebody that knows a little bit about polka music, that name most likely will come up, or they'll say, oh, sure, I've heard of him or I've seen him.
And Don also shared with us just how unexpected Steve Meisner's passing was June 1st at the age of 62.
So I was on stage 10 days before he passed away, and he was performing. He was not feeling real well, but he didn't know the gravity of it or the depth of it.
Yeah.
And went into the hospital on that following Tuesday, and that's when the scans started showing cancer in multiple locations, and he passed away so suddenly. I mean, it was within 7 or 8 days of that.
So Saturday's event is wide open to the public. You are invited. It'll be a music-filled occasion, lots of dancing to give Steve's family, friends, and fans a chance to be together and share stories and enjoy the day to honor him. The Steve Meisner Memorial Music Festival at the Schwabenhof in Menominee Falls. And as seen on the arts page on Milwaukee PBS, the annual Art and Chalk Fest returns to the Museum of Wisconsin Art in West Bend. It's free outdoor live arts festival that this weekend you can watch 19 Wisconsin area artists create temporary masterpieces in chalk all around the museum's 4-acre campus. It really is. You also get to see glass blowing and clay pottery demonstrations while enjoying live music. There's a lot to take in. Kids can get creative in the family activity zone, and you'll have access to the artworks inside the Museum of Wisconsin Art with free admission Saturday and Sunday.
No excuses. Get out there.
Exactly. That is what's on tap. If you want more info on any of these fun events to make the most of your weekend, go to WTMJ.com.
All right, we'll see what's on tap for Mr. Jeff Wagner, big polka fan himself, I hear, after this.
Downtown Milwaukee is the place to be for summer fun. Tonight, Cat Honcella, a first-of-its-kind fusion of boats, music, lights, and fireworks, all along the Milwaukee River and shores of Lake Michigan. Plus, on Friday night, catch Summer Spins, a community skate night at Red Arrow Park, where even the roller skate rentals are free. So come on down. Experience downtown in every sense. Go to MilwaukeeDowntown.com.